Hello and welcome to another episode of Live Talks with Fawole, the voice behind the camera, the wizard, and my man Joe Oliver in the house.
How you doing, Al?
I would just like to say, before we embark on this episode, it's going to be epic. And we're going to go some places where you may not be ready for. So, what is it? Parental advisory?
Yeah.
Is
R-rated.
Yeah, all right. Not because of me, though. Because of that guy over there. Or the one that you can't see. All right? All right, cool. And the wizard's laughing. All right, so, my man Joe, my brother from another mother, and I'm saying, I love you. I've known you for years. Yeah. You're an integral part of my life. I'm saying the sort of friend that will be gone but never forgotten. And when I talk to you on the phone, it's just we pick up where we left off before. That it is what it is.
It's an honour to be here. I thought just then you're talking about when I die. Yeah. Because you're like when you're gone but not forgotten. But
yeah, no.
I disappear, I come back.
Yeah, you do. How do we know each other?
We went to acting school together. Went to Anna Shares.
Yeah, did.
When we were young whippersnappers.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how long ago that was. At least 20 years ago.
It's a long time, man. Yeah. It's a long time ago. It seems like an eternity, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And we did improvisation, and we did acting skills, and we did directing of small plays, and we were part of that community, weren't we?
Yeah, it was nice. It was like, for me, there was people in the class that I saw outside the class, so we created a bond with. We created a bond with. Yeah. And just it just grew.
We also happened to live like 2 minutes from each other, so
yeah,
that was a funny coincidence.
Yeah.
And
then I can't even remember when it was, but we was good friends in class. Yeah. But I think then you invited me to a party, like one of your friends' parties, one of your parties, I don't know. And it just opened up a whole new world for me personally, because you come from where you come from as whoever you are, and then when you get an insight into someone else's world, it's like just it is what it is basically. So it was nice. It was different for me, but it was nice, and it was just from there. It was just a roller coaster. Like, you've been in my life since then. You're a G, innit? Like, I know you. I know things about you that will go with me to my grave. You get what I'm saying? And the same vice versa. I'm saying it's like that. Why have you got Hackney on your chest?
I was born in Hackney.
Okay.
I'm from Hackney.
See, I didn't know that.
There you go.
I know so much, but I didn't know that.
Till I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Wells Street Common. Like, nearest station was Hackney Downs.
I know. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
Wow, that's 30 odd years ago. So the place was, at the time, I think it was the third poorest place in the UK. It was a complete shithole. There were places where the police didn't go.
Yeah.
It was Hackney in the fucking 80s. And so life's changed a lot now. It's like full of, mullets and shit. But back then, yeah, I mean, I was like 5 years old, and I remember having like a gang because we were emulating what was around us, and we were just little kids. So yeah, it was weird. It was, but that's where I grew up. That's where I'm from. And I happen to be wearing a T-shirt that says Hackney on it today.
Yeah. There wasn't product placement, though?
No, that was not deliberate at all. Right,
he's repping the ends as you do certain days.
Yeah. Real Londoner.
Okay, cool.
And I used to say things like water. Do you know, I had quite a heavy accent. Like
water.
Cockney accent, yeah.
And the water in Majuta don't taste like water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. What's wrong with a Cockney accent?
Nothing's wrong with that, but when we went to acting school, obviously it changed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always thought you went to private school.
I know.
Like the way you talk, like you're very well put together. Never, nah?
No.
You're from the road.
Yeah.
Nice, because it's just like, when you talk sometimes, it's just like, okay, we're going to do this today, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. That you have an inherent confidence. Have you always been like that?
Maybe. I think there was, I mean, I've had my confidence knocked like everyone, right?
Yeah. We talk about that in a bit.
Well, maybe. Yeah. And then...
Come on, don't be shy.
No. Like, the thing about my life is I've met every type of person. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I speak quite clearly, but no, I never had private education or that sort of privilege. No. Everything I've done that's sort of a decent place has been earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was you like when you was like 5, emulating these gangs coming
like
up? Or do you remember how far back do you remember?
How far back do I remember?
Yeah.
Well, we went. Yeah, I mean, I remember. I mean, Hackney was a weird place, right? I remember.
Be careful to talk to the mic as well.
The poll tax riot stuff going on, and there was
Okay,
like.
do you know about that?
Yeah, there was like a load of punks living on the road, like squatting on the houses, and they tore down a tree, like in the front of the thing. And I was thinking, I don't like these people. They're destroying the trees. You know what I mean? And I was a little kid. But yeah, I mean, it's weird, but I used to play out and travel like as a young kid, like between Islington and Hackney, like 9 years old, and I don't know how many kids do that anymore. Like how regular that is, you know.
Yeah,
like,
you used to be able to do that though.
Yeah, it used to be normal. Yeah.
You used to be safe.
Yeah, that's the.
You should be safe, yeah, because you go across the road now. People want to fight you from one flat to another. It's a problem, but it used to be just you could do that.
Yeah. So yeah, Hackney was. It was. I mean, you must have gone there in days as well at some point.
I was around.
Were you allowed there? I don't even know. You're allowed there.
Who?
You.
I was allowed. I used to go where I want to go. You talk about allowed.
So what did you do when you went there?
Even now, I go where I want to go. Not being like, you know what? I go where I want to go, man. Come tell dare no one to tell me anything. But anyway,
but there was nothing to be there for anyway. There's no reason to.
No,
go there,
it's like when we was young, like you said, at them ages there. It was nice to be just to go out of your area. You could be going for a girl. You could be going to meet a cousin or whatever.
But like London Fields, right? If you go there now, on a weekend, it's like all these people having picnics and shit. Like it's full, people swimming in the Lido. I remember London Fields 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was just watching people's getting their bikes nicked.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a happy-go-lucky little place to go and sit down. Like
you know there's still an undercurrent of stuff going on.
Of course there is, but this is a city. Like
there's just like one layer that's been put on. Like everyone's having pictures and stuff, but some of the people are getting robbed. They're losing shit. Like
true,
I'm saying,
true. Not anymore.
Nah,
it is different.
They changed area. They've shown that they've got the power to do that.
Yeah.
Over the space, even now we've seen, let's say 30 years that we can remember. We've watched places change. We've watched places that were popular become unpopular. Places that was nice become ghettos, and places that were ghettos become nice.
There's some places they ain't changed.
Some places ain't changed,
yeah. But my thing is, I hear what you're saying, and they've made the ghetto into something nice, and they changed it. But yet still, it was originally the ghetto, and until the gentrification is like total, like the eradication of a certain species, you've still come and put food in amongst the lions, so there's still be people getting their bikes nicked. I'm just saying, there's still crime there, crime will gravitate to where the food is. If there's more food, then people start eating up food. Like but that's
I'm just saying, like you see, like Regent's Park,
could be drugs as well. You know what I'm saying? Everything. There's food there, so there'll be more people around there. That's what I'm saying. But
I'm saying, you see, like Regent's Park, you know, you just have an understanding of, when you go up there.
Yeah,
I think I'm just trying to go for more like what I think he's saying as well. Like like you go up to certain parks and it's just got that vibe.
Yeah,
you're not really worrying about your bike getting nicked. You can get nicked there as well.
Yeah,
because it's people lurking everywhere.
Yeah, lock it back up.
But it's just, I know what he's saying about how London Fields. London Fields used to be a place where you don't really want to even start like jamming that park for a little while.
Yeah,
you're getting some problems, like arguments, beef. That's it used to really be like that. Like one of the parks is a no-no. When now it's a proper. It's a trendy park. It's fair to say.
Is there any other examples of that in London though? Is it everywhere like that?
Market Road, right next to us.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It used to have all the old vans on it.
Of course.
Like,
no, I don't remember
the second-hand sales of the vans, right?
When they used to have the red flats there, do you remember?
I kind of remember the red flats.
The red flats were terrible.
It's like when they change stuff.
Or King's Cross, mate.
Yeah.
You know when they change stuff,
King's Cross is
huge transformation.
This is what I want to say. When they change stuff,
can't buy things there that you used to be able to buy. You're not allowed that anymore. You can walk around there for a long time at night and you still don't get what you're looking for.
Yeah. Give me free. Took for 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, King's Cross is a great example.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. King's Cross is a great example.
Example.
For years, that part was rubble as well. Do you remember how long that was rubble? You know that plot? That's like a really.
But this is what I'm trying to get out of my mouth. It's like, I appreciate this stuff, because when you're saying the cars and the red over there, and you're saying the red flats, I remember how the red flats was. I remember going in the red flats and stuff. I remember King's Cross as well not having certain things as far as I could see. Also,
like safety.
Safety or like, and there was pharmacists there all the time, kind of. But I'm saying now, it's happening so fast. Me as a person, sometimes I'm finding it hard to remember what was there.
Yeah.
Because the other thing's there now. I'm trying to find it hard to remember when it was the front line. I remember the front line down there. All sorts of shit went on down there.
Yeah.
I know people now alive that could tell you stories about that. I know people that made themselves, and then I know people that have broken themselves down there. The stories are there to be told.
Yeah.
But the pavements don't tell those stories right now. The pavements are just like, like pizza places, and people are walking around half inebriated.
Do you remember when Hackney Council couldn't pay their rubbish collections or whatever?
I kind of remember that.
And in the whole summer there were like new pyramids of
shit, rubbish.
Just on the street.
Yeah.
It was just mismanaged for a long time, wasn't it, that council? And it was corrupt, and it was just like, was ignored.
So those were your years, you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got brother in it?
Yeah.
How was it growing up with your brother? What was it like?
What's the age gap?
So go.
What's the age gap?
2-year gap. Yeah, it's good.
Is he older or younger?
He's older. He's a really like kind, but and very, very intelligent guy. So the other thing is my mum was at that time was working in bookstores, so we had a lot of books in the house. So I used to read a lot, and that was like, this is also pre mobile phones, right? So it was like my growing up was like either I'm outside playing with the other kids on the common or on the streets playing football or something, or I was reading. Like that was how I grew up,
What kind of stuff was you reading?
So my mum had a lot of books around psychology and also around like
it all makes sense.
Sci-fi somehow.
Yeah.
And my dad's
makes a lot of
was
sense.
an architect, so
he
had books around architecture, and then also they were both Tibetan Buddhists. So my mum and dad were Buddhists. So I grew up again with like quite an exotic culture in the house.
Yeah.
Compared like nobody else was Buddhist in the area. I remember the
you tell them at school, I'm Christian.
Like, everyone who's Christian, put your hands up. Like half the fucking everyone who's Muslim, like everyone who's like Hindu, and you still got like a good few. And it's like, and then the Buddhists, and it's like, yeah, you knew you said that because there's just me sitting here staring at me, and I was like, I'm not putting my hand up.
Yeah, you did. Try talking to Mike, Joe. Or put it closer to him.
So yeah, I didn't like. So I sort of lived a little bit like not. I wasn't showing that like going around talking to people about that so much because it was unusual.
Yeah.
And it was like, why would I? But the holidays I had, like my parents would go to Buddhist retreats, so there'd be like meditation. I'd be like,
nice,
in some countryside place with literally nothing to do because they didn't have any provision for the kids. So like,
oh wow,
it was a bit wild at the beginning. Yeah.
What did you do there? Did you read or just do the meditating and stuff?
You
started trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I was a young kid. It was like we wanted to play or do stuff. But no, I got taught meditation from a very young age. I remember like literally being like 3 or 4 and being taught how to meditate, which I've carried through and I think saved my life a few times. Like it's pretty amazing skill. I think it's like a fundamental skill if you learn life. There's like if you learn how to meditate, you basically learn how to focus and control your own mind and to not be distracted by other influences. That's really powerful, and that's agnostic. There's nothing to do with religion.
Yeah,
like of course, technique. Yeah.
Controlling oneself.
Yeah, so that was interesting. And then also I think my parents didn't want me to like get sort of like bullied or stuff. So I started to do training martial arts from like 5 years old.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was doing like judo and taekwondo pretty young. And then that went on throughout the years as well. Carried on doing that a lot. Different types. Yeah.
So you registered as a deadly weapon?
So I think technically, so this what you're saying is a grain of truth, right? So
hello.
How it works is if you get a black belt, you're meant to register officially.
Yeah, I know.
But I studied kung fu, and there's no belts.
Okay.
So no need to register.
No need to register.
Yeah.
What did the
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, but then, all right, then look, boom. So you say that now, and I understand. Like, if you're registered like that, and boom, if I get in a fight and I hit someone, it's a problem because I'm registered, isn't it? So that's the problem. So so if the same thing happens for you now, and you get in a fight, and
I don't get into fights. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I know that.
I wouldn't hit someone.
But yeah, we're speaking speculatively. Whatever, mate. Don't cost me whatever. So we're speaking speculatively now. With the kung fu skills you have or what you learn, it's a different law for you. Basically, that's what you're saying with the registering.
I'm the same law as everyone else. I'm not registered.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not. I don't have to register as something because I never hit a certain.
No, what I'm saying is. When you're registered, if you have a fight now and you're registered, like if a boxer has a fight now, a professional boxer, then they're in trouble.
Yeah, they would be, yeah.
They're a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
Without them, if you just train in boxing, but you can box, but you're not registered, like it's not you're okay, it's not good to do it, I'm saying.
Sure.
But I'm just showing the difference between what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure if it's defending yourself, you're not in trouble.
No, but if you defend yourself, but you've got within your repertoire the arsenal to defend yourself in a certain way, you're in trouble if you defend yourself more than if you don't.
Even if you've been under attack.
Yeah.
Even if you've been under attack, yeah.
You have to give them a warning.
Yeah, but say
if you've got it's almost like having it's like saying you've got a gun. If you got, they're saying that's like having a gun.
Look at Mike Tyson on the plane the other day.
I don't know what happened on the plane the other day. What happened on the plane? I don't know. I never saw it.
Some guy threw a plastic ball at his head and he just beat the crap out of the guy.
Yeah.
Like properly, like on top of him.
Diving in. I haven't seen this.
But the guy's gonna be a millionaire.
I don't know though.
So like he threw a plastic bottle and the end result, whoever got attacked is gonna be like multi-millionaire. Yeah. He's gonna sue.
So what did they do? Just start whacking him up, you're saying?
Yeah. Right inside the cabin.
And that because he's got dough and because he knows how to fight will be even worse because they're all saying now like if he never
he's done, right?
If they never know to fight, they'll be like, okay, this guy hit me, blah, blah, it's assault, it's this, that, the third. Now, because he's Mike Tyson, it's like, it's deadly assault because he knows how to punch and this or whatever. Like, I felt like my life was over, it flashed before my eyes, That's going to add a couple mil on top of that just because he's got the license of boxing. That's what I'm saying within the license thing, innit?
Well, Will Smith's got it as well.
Will Smith isn't as bad, but it's bad. Because they know he's got money and he should have done it. It's a different kind of thing.
But he knows how to fight as well. He's a trained fighter.
Well, okay, yeah. I didn't know that. If he's got a license for that, the same thing.
You know what I mean?
Same thing.
He's done a few action movies.
That was a good movie as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had to do a bit of training.
He's done martial arts here and there.
Yeah.
He's meditating.
Yeah.
Have you ever used it when you was younger, older, and like said, go on, I want to knock you out and knock someone out, and said, go on, you wanker, go on, have that. So they push you too much.
What is important to remember, right, is I was doing external and internal martial arts. So I was doing energetic form meditation as well as physical expression. And that's very different from someone just does kickboxing or something like that. Because if you're doing kickboxing, you're just doing what's called external martial art. But your internal self might not be very clear, right, or not very strong. So someone can distract you or they can make you angry really easy, right? But I was doing both. So what happens is this sort of really nice harmony turns out, and then it's almost like no hesitation between the two, like your internal external state. So yeah, I had a gang of guys attack my friend. There were like 7 of them, and I got my friend out of that, and then had to fight them, and then
get him a bit.
Yeah, come on, give us the 18 version. You give us the PG version.
5.
Yeah, I did say it at the front. Yeah, what did you
5 of them standing back from me at the end. I definitely hurt a few of them. Yeah.
Well, I
was doing it to protect my friend.
What form did you use?
Free flow, but effectively, I think I broke a couple bones there, and I have done that. But it's only come through protection people. So the last one also, I saw some girl getting attacked.
We don't like that at all.
Stepped in and like basically put the guy on the floor pretty quick. So I don't like start fights, and I never really fight on my behalf. Like someone could say whatever they want to me, I really don't care. I'll just walk away. But like you can insult me, like I don't mind. But seeing a lady getting attacked or a guy who's getting outnumbered, there's something different there. It's very not honourable. So in those circumstances, I've done a few things. I've knocked people out and broken some bones and stuff, and just
nice.
Yeah. You've ever lost a fight since you did martial arts?
I haven't lost a fight since I was 16, I think. I can't remember losing a fight for a very, very, very long time. Yeah. But I'm also not looking for fights, do you know what I mean? And I think if I was going out there and trying to be like, I'm the big guy, then there'll be some other big guy who will just fucking fight you. You know, like that's how it works. There's always someone who's bigger than you who will take you out, right? It doesn't matter how you know, and even if your day is your day, then after 3 years, someone else is going to come up and like, who could, you know.
It works like that.
So it's like being humble is the safest way. Like
Definitely.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
In training, though, training, sparring and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How was that?
I've knocked out a few people in sparring as well, yeah.
Yeah, but when was the last time you lost in sparring? Like, if you can even attribute, like, say you're losing or winning in sparring, if maybe getting knocked out is a measure.
No, I've never been knocked out, and I've never, even sparring, I haven't really lost, so to speak. Okay. But I did have like 16-ounce gloves on, and the guy had a head thing and everything, and he was like 50 kilo bigger than me, and they were matching me with the bigger guys, and he hit me and it hurt me, so I just hit him once and I knocked him out, and he had trouble like for the next 3 days with his head. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's also like I didn't even want to hurt him, and like the first thing he dropped, I ripped my gloves off and tried to check that his tongue was clear on his airway, you know, like, and it would, but the feeling of sinking inside me was like, ugh, oh no, because I know what happened. Like, he lost his leg, like, boom, right down, and I'm southpaw, so it's very, very
left-handed.
Hard. Yeah, it's very hard to protect against that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I also I trained with Shaolin monks. Like, they do not mess around. Like, and there's a certain level of threshold which, if you're operating like that, it's like, you know, you might get hurt a little bit, but you're not going to get beaten up. Huh?
How did you get to do that?
Yeah, so Tufnell Park opened the first Shaolin temple outside of China, right? So that, like, when that opened, I was like, wow. So
is that the first one?
Outside China.
I think it's one of the only ones, yeah. If you check them to two, I think it's one of the only ones.
There are some more now, but at the time, that was the very first one ever in history to, like, be done. And it was like, wow, this is weird.
Why here?
Yeah, why here, didn't it? And I'm like, 10-minute walk from there, and I'm like watching Bruce Lee movies already, and I'm already training martial arts, so I was like, okay, I'll go. And I literally kept to myself the entire time. I didn't speak to anyone. I went there. They must have thought I was like a complete loner, but all I was doing is just being present, like, with the studies. Like, that's all I did. That's the only reason I went there. So I wouldn't talk to anyone. So I trained 3 times a week there, and then I had a boxing bag at home, so I'd do like 45 minutes a day, either boxing or some striking or different moves. And then you do this thing which is like the visualization. So you do like the forms and so forth. You replay in your mind again and again and again and again, and you just become like complete fluid in it. So yeah, by the time that actually translates to someone, I don't know, being attacked in the street, it's pretty instant. It doesn't last longer than like 3-4 seconds, and it's the problem solved. Do you know what I mean? So it's like very, very direct training. And then, I carried on studying with Shaolin monks, and I also did some studying with other quite successful, like world champion level
trainers.
Yeah. And like, you know, it's partly it's like a threshold of fitness. As long as you're like this fit and you can keep going, like that's sort of how it works. You know, as long as you can kind of hold your weight in the ring, and then on top of that is all the technique and the position and all that stuff. But strength, doesn't matter.
What was it like? Because you learn how to be strong within the situation.
Well, when you train, I went to China when I was like 18.
Okay.
And I did 8 to 10 hours of training a day.
Yeah.
And that was hardcore.
That's when you came back. You could do backflips, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember them times.
Yeah, I could do backflips.
Yeah,
I was skinny then as well. I weighed probably 30 kilos less than I do right now. Like, but I was stringy and like, I could.
It was good. Yeah, no, I remember when you left. I remember
could fly.
What year was we? What year was we in the thing? How old was you then? Is it 16?
Yeah, but I kept going to Anna's, I think, till I was like 20, 21 or something.
Yeah, she came back. I remember when you came back from there. Yeah. But yeah, so going in there, training 8-10 hours a day, what was that like?
Great. So it's like, firstly, they're basically taking you to the edge, whoever you are, like the edge of your capacity and things. So the first 2 weeks, you're like, you can't, you know, when you can't walk down the stairs because your legs hurt so much, it's sort of just like, you literally can't do it. So it's like that every day. And then something changes and you're just like, you kind of can keep up. And then there's a lot of meditation, like Qigong practice, energy practice. So I ended up breaking the blocks with my hands, you know, the stone to crack it. And they do bricks in the videos, but I did solid stone blocks. So that's to do with the energy work.
I was thinking that.
Very powerful. Yeah, a lot of Qi, yeah. So I did that. I started to learn Tai Chi as well at that time, which is very, like, I'm still doing a bit of Tai Chi. Really like that. But there was a point, you know, I think that like studying martial arts in some ways was done as a defensive mechanism and then somehow like an empowerment thing to give me confidence. And then there was a point where I just sort of like, I was like, shit, I'm all right at this. And like I can keep doing it as my thing, but at the same time, I can not train. I still have very quick reflexes. So I just, and that stayed true. So the muscle memory and the sort of technique is still there. Like I'm not very fit right now. Like, I'm not as fit as I was, but like it's still all there. So it's like it's really
you've programmed your body already.
Really,
it's fully
on
programmed.
a cellular level, it's there, and that's quite interesting because then I sort of let go of this idea, like of being a martial artist or doing this stuff, and I stopped thinking about it, and I really let go of it, and then there's a lot of peace that came from that, and I had no fear of pretty much anything. Like I could walk anywhere, and like I see like a big group of people, like I don't care. They come up to me, say something, like, whatever. You know, until the literal moment that turns physical, I don't have that like, what's going to happen? I'm just like present, like I'm here, like okay, cool. You want something? Okay, well maybe I'm not going to give it to you, and just walk away. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I'm not like going, oh no, I'm praying. Like
Fuck, you know, I haven't heard that word in ages.
Yeah, I'm like no moment of that fear left. Which was present. I think I grew up with that a bit. I remember being 7, being chased with like a hammer by some older dude in Hackney, like trying to hit a kid with a hammer. Like there was some mad stuff, you know. And like people, I had a gun pulled on. Like a lot of different stuff happened. Knives when I was young. Like this is like kids stuff. And so like you know when you grow up with that,
in Hackney, didn't you?
Yeah, when you grow up with that, you have a bit of like, this is a potential thing that could happen at any moment. And I think I let go a lot of that, just sort of shed, and like the nervous system let go of it. And that was through training. It took ages, and like working out how to manage your own nervous system, have emotional regulation is like one of the fundamentals of being in charge of who you are. Definitely. You know, because otherwise you can get spurred and turned into someone else just on the flip of a switch because someone else has got a bad day.
But it's like you said, you still become quite protective. Yeah. So you lose the fear for yourself. Yeah. But they end up still being quite protective for others.
Well, I think I always had that. Like, there's
you know what I'm saying? That part doesn't go.
No. But that's love. I think that's just like,
it's love, isn't it? Yeah.
But then it would still be just an awareness, isn't it? Yeah. Or if something smells awry, you'd be like, okay, now it's time to step in and say no.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but what you said that I related to is that, you know, like someone could insult me, I can kind of let it slide. Like I'm not so funny with myself more than other people. I can be very defensive for other people more than I'm defensive for myself.
Yeah. And it's also just, for me, it's like people can't defend themselves. Like, if it's a mate who can fight, I'm just like, yeah, go on. Yeah. I want to see what happens now.
So let me understand.
Let's see how this works. Like, all fair. It's fair in gladiator world. Like, go ahead. Maybe you beat him. Like,
let me understand this now. So,
if I'm with you, Io,
this is what I'm going. I knew it. She would just leave me to get fucked up. Yeah. Wow.
No, for a moment, I'd see how it goes. I'd let you do your thing. Otherwise, you know, I'm not going to patronise you and come in and be like, don't talk to him like that. I'm protecting this guy. He's much bigger than me, but I'm still protected. They'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? And you'd be like, what are you doing?
No, but it'll be nice. Like,
but if it happened, you're in a bad way.
Yeah.
I'll be there in that moment before that gets any worse.
I appreciate you for that, but because
they won't suspect it either.
No, but you know the best thing though, because you've got that, because you've got that, you know, you've shed it, right? And when people's energy is people's energy. So I would like, if something like that was about to happen, you just step in and say, nah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
But the way you say you don't want to do that, like even I know you in it, and I've seen you do it. That's what I said about him. If you're serious, sometimes when he says, nah, boom. There's a different energy that comes from him. Yeah. So I'd like to say, no, I don't want to do that. I want to look at you, your energy, they look at me, and they're not doing anything. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I've done that a lot. Yeah, when
it's part of the internal martial arts.
Yeah, because you can see it in the eye. That's it. You can definitely see it in the eye.
Give them the energy about it.
I've had a bunch of times people are like, you know, they want to do something, they kind of look at me, and then I really look at them, and they're like,
they question themselves.
Like, I don't think I want this level of hassle. I thought it was this.
Yeah. It's want of a better term, it's the eye of the tiger. It's the wolf's vein, whatever you want to call it. You've got it. When you're ready, you know, like when you're on, when it's on, like you said, no, that's really not serious. I can't just do it now myself because that's just like, but you'd be like, nah, making myself laugh now. But you get that look.
Yeah, the look.
When you look, it's like people, they start asking their own questions. Like, I'm going to go now. They change their direction. I love it. I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I've seen you do it without talking or even looking. Like, it's different levels, isn't it? Where was we now? So the martial artist. So in school now, or I've 18, coming back from the Shaolin Temple, learning these life skills that you learnt.
Yeah.
What was the next step in your life? I think, was that when we went into when we was in down Brick Lane and all that? Was that the kind of time that happened, or was you? And what have you studied as well?
I think I went on to do art around that time, because I'd been at college, and I'd done a lot of different like art stuff, especially photography.
Oh yeah, you took some pictures of me, didn't you?
I did, yeah. They're banned.
They're banned, yeah.
What kind of pictures
You
were
are
they?
talking about those photos, right?
Those photos, no. These are cheers, motherfuckers, man. This is
There's some scandalous photos that I running around like somewhere.
Longest days.
Yeah, longest days, yeah.
On mushrooms with a sunflower behind my ear.
But naked.
But that's what I said.
Naked.
Yeah, cheers. The photos are out there, don't
There's some great photos, yeah. I definitely did your portrait a few times. So I sort of rejected academic work at school. The studies I had and the teachers I had didn't inspire me. So I went through school thinking this is rubbish and I could probably do better, you know, like, and I just like
this is secondary school,
and I was just, nothing was challenging me, so I ended up having to just study on my own as well, because some of the teachers just gave up like on the class. It wasn't me personally, and so I got out of that and I got just enough good grades to get to college, and I went to college and I just wanted to do the arts, so I did photography, art, media studies, film studies, and classics. And I remember thinking the only thing I really enjoyed in all of that was art anyway, and photography. So I ended up applying to go to art college, and I got in. So at that age, I went and ended up going to Chelsea, of all places, Chelsea Art College, which is part of the University of the Arts. And I did that for a year as a foundation or a diploma. But I remember thinking, like, this is kind of the only path for me right now. And if I was to go into higher education, this is it. Like, I'm not going to go and do any other degree, like literally anything else. Mm-hmm. So I did that. And then I ended up doing that was when I moved. Well, I was in Blackstock Road first, right? You remember that place?
That's
Do you remember the house party where the police helicopter hung overhead and put a light down and everyone just started partying harder?
I remember parties like
outside, yeah.
I've had so many parties with you that I can't differentiate one party from the next, or one party night from the next, because there's been so many party nights that in different places, different towns, like, and I'm just saying, it's like, I'm not saying it.
One in Finsbury Park, we had the whole house.
Yeah,
and there was a garden with a bunker in the background.
There's one we had in West End, in the middle of Covent Garden.
Yeah.
That was that guy's Will's house. Was that Will's dad's house?
Will's restaurant above it, yeah.
And there was some mad, like, the stairs, some
we got on the
hazard.
roof.
And it was just, there was the one down in West London somewhere where they let off the lanterns for someone, I don't know if someone even died or not. They was letting off lanterns, mate. It was down, going towards Kilburn, I think that one was. We was on the roof. My night started with you and it ended with you, but I know I ended up at the party where Ginger Daniel, was there. And don't you remember they letting off lanterns? Like, they lit the lanterns and the lanterns were going up in the air and floating off. That's the first time I'd ever seen it.
I think that's illegal these days.
That's the first time I'd ever seen it.
Like crashing and burning people's houses.
Yeah, maybe that's, I don't know. That's probably why I'm so like,
so many parties.
You don't remember that party?
I mean, I went to a lot.
But go on, the party you was talking about, where the helicopters coming down, the police coming over.
Yeah, well, the police were like, they basically put the police helicopter come and like shine a light down onto the garden, right? And they're hovering above, like, bah, 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 and all the wind's going everywhere. And the house was so alive that everyone just looked up and went, yeah! And they put the light, like spotlight, and then everyone just started dancing harder.
Wow.
And it was like, they were like, whoa, and everyone was like, no!
Whatever, they love it.
Yeah, it was fucking an amazing party, that one. And then they just went off. That was funny. You were telling people to get off the back of you were like, get off the thing at the back. There was like
what? I can't remember.
A wall at the back, and you were like, get off, and they were all in other people's gardens and stuff. It was like mayhem. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was my 19th birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I used to take care of you. That's what I used to do, innit?
Yeah.
Make sure you were safe.
Yeah.
Don't want to jump in and let me get beat up, you know? Don't say nothing. Let me get in front.
Yeah,
God, anyway.
Yeah. Although that night, one guy did hit me I don't even know why he hit me. He punched me in the forehead with a ring, and he cut my head open, and it was just blood poured down my face. And I looked up, and I was like, huh? And I remember looking at him. My whole vision just went like a target went on his face. And the next thing I know is like 3 of my friends just jumped in and stopped me. They were like, chucked him out. They were like, just get him out, get that guy out there. So good friends. But yeah, then I went. So I studied that art stuff. And then I went and did it at St Martin's. I did 3 years at St Martin's, and that's
at art college.
Yeah,
that's where that name Papu Costi. Big up Papu Costi. Yeah, he went there. He told me about that.
Yeah,
got Central St Martin's.
Yeah. So I did
big up the wizard too.
Art there. I did fourth dimension, time and space, with a focus on dream realization.
Yeah.
So I was like, how to achieve dreams, like ideas of dreams.
You've got a lot in the spiritual realm then, with all the stuff you've really learned, and then going into that as well. That would have been nice for you.
So I was doing a lot of dream work and then trying to make the artworks from my dreams. Like what was coming out from that day. So I'd write it down and then try and make the artwork from it. And I did that for 3 years.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That is. You was, say it again? You're doing the artwork.
So I was like recording my own dreams and then I was making artwork from them. Well,
okay, go on.
Like I'd wake myself up every 40 minutes in the nighttime. So in the REM sleep cycles, I'd be dreaming and I'd set an alarm that would wake me up and I'd be like, write it down, go back to sleep. So I'd have a pen and a piece of paper next to my bed. I did that for like 3 years. And then I started to work for other people's dreams. So I literally had one point where I had people like staying over and I would wake them up and film them like on a camcorder and be like, wake up, what's your dream? And
where did you get this formula from?
I sort of studied like how the cycles were working, and I was like, well, if you're going to catch this, you got to wake them up at the moment. So that's what I started doing.
Well, you're a genius.
It was amazing. Yeah. And so I have loads of recorded information on dreams and other people's dreams, and then I start to like look at like, well, what does it mean to have like an intangible dream versus tangible dream? And it's sort of like the same. I was like, if you're dreaming, like there's also a lot of theory around this being a dreaming state now, like us being awake, right?
Yeah.
Which has been verified many times about the fact that we're basically living in our own mind simulation or a hallucination. That's what we're doing, and we're filtering the information that comes and sort of like getting rid of 90% of it and going, well, this is what we can deal with. We can deal.
Yeah, give me 3. Keep going.
So we can deal with this moment. We can deal with this this level of the filter. Yeah, so we have a filter, like a brain filter going on, and dreaming sort of takes away some of that filter, but in essence, it's still a similar reality. Like it's just a slightly different parallel existence. So that was interesting, and I created a community around dream makers, so people could help each other realize their dreams, and that was the first time the internet had an online dream community ever in history. That was in 2005, and then when I left college, it's like unemployable. Like if someone turned up to you and went, "Yeah, I can study dreams," like, I'm not going to pay you for that. So, like the difference between me being in
qualification,
it was just like, I mean, it's helpful now when I look back on it, but at the time it was like absolutely no. It was like opposite.
So you don't do it anymore?
No, I do things in different ways, but not that specific discipline. But what happened was, I at the time, as I said, as I was involved in and doing parties, so I thought, okay, so I studied a little course with Incident Council, which was on social entrepreneurship, and it taught me how to set up a business. Now, it really did teach like the basics, and frankly, having known what I know now, would I have done it again? I don't know, because it's so much more complicated than they made out. But at the time, I was very full of beans.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
You did it in the right time of your life, mate.
Yeah, and I just started a business straight out of college to do with entertainment business and doing parties. And I thought at the time, well, I think they should also be ecologically safe because, if we're going to make a mess, it should be cleaned up. And at the time, that was like the first eco-entertainment company in the UK. There was almost nothing going on in the world about it. And I ended up doing a lot of like pioneering projects. So in a year and a half, I went from being on my own laptop, in a room in a laptop on my own, and that year I had like no money, so I moved like 12 times, like just to places that were free or like cheap, to then a year and a half later I had like a team of 20 and loads of other people and like press. Yeah, and like loads of press and like it was like I'd open up the Metro and see my own face in it. I was like, oh shit. And like getting awards and like doing shit that just hadn't been done but was quite obviously needed in the world, you know. So I sort of spent a few years carving out my name in that area, which is a lot about sustainability. And at that point, I made quite an interesting choice as I stopped really socialising so much. And I spent my weekends and evenings reading about anything to do with ecological change and climate change. So I just soaked all of it up. And then when I was going and practicing it, it was like it wasn't theoretical anymore. It was all just like actualised. So that was, again, like a sort of representation of that dream work where I was doing something that I could imagine that didn't exist and then making it reality.
Yeah.
And by tapping into that sort of energy, I somehow carved a name for myself in an industry which is sustaining to now. Like, it's still, like, this is now nearly 20 years on, it's still, people still know me for that, and I'm still known for that sort of stuff. So that was interesting. That was an interesting
I remember the
entry.
I was around for the whole transition. I was around for all of this. I remember the building of what was built and the moving around, and exactly like not everything behind the scenes, but I was there with you behind the scenes. And then when the flower started to grow, and we was in behind that car wash on that building that we shot a lot of videos in. I think Too Many Men shot in there, among other things. A lot of videos got shot in there, but that building was under his control at that time. That's he facilitated that. That was all of that was through. But a lot of things went down there, and then the growth from there as well. It was amazing times, man. The whole building,
I remember that.
Him and another guy,
You did Pants for Poverty.
Yep.
I was DJing there.
Yep. That was part of the vision that you said you brought to life. You just explained you brought to life.
Yeah,
but
so that became a co-working space, but that was the largest one in Europe.
I remember.
Like, this is before WeWork.
Wow.
So this is like, I was doing co-working spaces before WeWork, and it was big. Like, it wasn't like a...
It was a hole before. It was just a hole in the wall before we did that.
Yeah, it was a derelict post office.
You did very, very well. The team you pulled together as well. That's just like... You say the dream world and the real world cross over, and how it's so relatable, but also the belief and the manifesting of things, and saying you're going to do things and know exactly what you want to do, having that inherent, like the meditative, I can't think, the background of meditating and being internal as well. That's obviously attributed to where you are now and who you are as a person.
Yeah, very
definitely.
Because there's no disconnect between the internal and external world.
Yeah,
and then there's no disconnect between the dream and the reality.
Yeah, I don't want to get lost, but
through. Even if it doesn't exist, you go into it. You know, it becomes like it exists because you go for it.
Like deja vu. Even.
Like all these American startup things being like, oh, manifestation, all that stuff. Like that's the stuff. I've been doing that for a day. You know, like imagine your reality and invent it. Like, yeah, sure. I literally have a degree in that. You know, like, and a lot of the stuff they put on the internet now is just, it's not how it works. So they'll be like, you know, the secret. They'll be like, oh, wish for a new car and a big house, and like, and the thing is, that's not what gets you the big house and big car.
Okay,
right. So you just going, oh, I want a big car, like whatever. It's just like, it's so shallow and it's so it's not. It doesn't have a potency, right? But if you want to interact in the world and create something, you have to have potency.
Yes.
It's like, in a very simple way, it is the fertility of potential. Right, so that idea where you create the universe, it's got the male and female thing come together and it creates something new. Yeah, there is a reality of energy that works like that, right? Okay, and so if you're just like, oh, I want a house or a car, it doesn't have potency. But if you're like, I want to contribute to this thing, to build something like that, to then create something, that has potency. So there's a whole difference in the way that they're like portraying it, and it's all to do with convenience, because they can sell a course of like manifestation to you for like $300. Because they're not really asking you to do much, you know, like they're not asking you to do the hard work. The hard work is like, you can do whatever you want in life. You literally can create anything, but you have to understand that to do that, you have to sacrifice and you have to focus. And there's a level of like, you have to have potency to do with that, and that's to do with like a sort of internal energy that you're tapping into. It's not just wishful thinking.
I like that. I like the way you put the cherry on that. It's not just wishful thinking.
A lot of things are broken down. So like, even I feel like a lot of, you see like within religions, if you looked at all of the different religions, there's things that you can take from all of them. like Buddhists, you can take meditation from them. You know what I'm saying? There's something maybe you could take from Christianity, Islam. There's different things, but I feel like a lot of the truth is broken down throughout the religions, and it's the same thing within the manifestation laws. Like they've been broken down. You know, like instead of they don't give you the if they was gonna make you understand it, they don't give you the whole package to understand. They give you one bit here, one bit there.
Well, the key is like you can't have something that you're not, right? So you either are that thing or you're not. If you want it, you got to be it, right? You've got to be that thing. That's the same in boxing. You can't go, I'm going to go and win the championship and not actually be a good boxer.
You got to be a champion, or not even just be a champion. Yeah, go on.
Like, that's never going to happen. Everyone goes, that's obvious, right? But that's the same in all these other things. Like, if you don't have a good work ethic, you don't get up and grind, like, good luck on, like, saving up some money to get the thing you want. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not like, suddenly, like, I got lucky and it just happened. Like, maybe 1 in a million, but do you really want to waste your life being that chance?
Yeah.
No.
It's not happening. It is what it is. Like, and the reality of it is like when they're charging you £300 or $300 and they're telling you just wish. It's not. What do you say? It's not. What do you say?
Wishful thinking.
Not just wishful thinking. And then, like you saying, like when they're not telling you, okay, it's manifestation, but this is the equation, or this is the potion for the manifestation.
You understand?
It takes this. Not want to be a bit dark, but the leg of a thing, your bit of your eyelash, enough of your time, some of your ass, blood, sweat, this, some tears, some hunger, some poverty, some this. They're not giving them the whole thing. You have to go through this, and then
Kevin Hart's a great example, right? He gets up at 5 a.m. every morning, does 2 hours of exercise. Why? Because that energy that he gets from doing the pumping the thing and stretching and doing all that allows him to continue through the day with a high level of energy in his actual work.
Yeah.
He doesn't skip a day. He's like one of the most like rigorous people. So he's achieved his fame through pure grind. But to do that, he'd had to become a different person than he was before.
Yeah, you have
to be that thing that you want, you literally have to change what you are now. And most people don't want to change. In fact, they're against the fact that they could change. They want an external change to happen. And all of this comes through the internal change. That's where it starts. And then it goes into the external.
Yeah.
Like, you're lazy, you're not going to get up. You're not going to go and, you know.
The only way it works if you're lazy, if you being lazy is the way to manifest your shit, but there's no way that's going to happen, really, is it?
And what did Anna say, right? Anna was like...
I had any classes, man. I had one or two.
Preparation prevents poor performance, right?
See, I remember that one, though.
Right.
Was it... God.
I'm not doing it properly, but it's something like...
poor preparation prevents... Poor preparation doesn't prevent... Poor preparation... presents,
or just preparation prevents poor performance. Let's say that, yeah.
Preparation prevents poor performance.
Yeah, but effectively, she's saying like if you don't do the prep, and the point the opportunity comes, like you're not gonna get it. You know, and this is the same thing. It's like that she said that what was it? Success is 99% backbone and 1% wishbone. Right.
That's nice.
So it's like you have to have the wish. Like if you don't have the wish, no, you're not going to see the opportunity. Yeah. But if you're not prepared for that and you haven't put in the hard work, point it comes to it,
99% backbone, 1% wishbone. Yeah.
A lot of it is like even when what people consider luck is missing the journey as well. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the best parts of what you do in life is the journey towards it. 100%. As much as there's a goal, the journey is some of the best parts and like some of your experiences within the journey. It's just that the goal is driving you to go through this journey. So like a lot of people, what they consider luck, if you just get lucky, whether it's win the lottery or just get a big opportunity, you kind of miss out on the journey. As much as you might feel like, okay, there's a big opportunity, there's money or whatever it is, missing out on that journey to me is like
well, there's, you know, all these people win the lottery, but they have a poor mentality.
Yeah.
So they then spend the money, and then they're left with no money, and they went.
But it becomes gone.
Well, they went, okay, I'm back in the same position, or even in some cases, I'm in more debt than I was before, because I didn't change my internal self about how to deal with that thing. It happens all the time.
Then it becomes part of the journey.
Yeah, it's part of the journey. Yeah,
so it becomes part of the journey,
which is fine. That's the point. If you accept it and you integrate it, it's fine. I learned a lesson.
Yeah,
but then don't complain about it, right?
Yeah, try and get lucky again.
Do not get it. I don't know if people win twice. That would be amazing,
mate. Listen,
anything's possible.
No, do you know what? Yes, say it again.
Anything's possible.
That's it. One more time, bro.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. I'm saying, yeah, we all win, which people forget. And I only remembered like a couple months back, I did sit at my thing. I was sitting there and it hit me an epiphany, which everyone knows already. Every morning we win the life lottery. Every day we win the life lottery. What is more important than that? Because without the life lottery, you cannot do anything else. So the mindset of this is what I'm saying, having that mindset, as bad or good it might be.
They've done studies now to say that if you have gratitude practice, it is technically impossible for your brain to have anxiety at the same time.
So if you're grateful, you can't be shook.
You cannot. Like the brain cannot compute both at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you're grateful for the moment, which is effectively being completely present as well, then you're not living in the past or future about what does or doesn't go wrong.
Yeah.
So actually, the antidote towards anxiety or fear or like, what's going on, is to be grateful.
Grateful, yeah.
And like on a chemical sort of operational level, it is impossible for the brain to do both. Yeah. So that's amazing. Like if you ever think like, oh, what about that? Suddenly just go, be grateful. Like I'm grateful I'm alive, and you literally change the chemical composition in your brain.
Which everyone should be.
Well, we I hope, yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying to you. That's what I was just saying. That's what I'm saying basically. Like, although I have definitely not so guilty, I do have the moments where I'm living in the past or the present, or the past or the future, and that distorts me actually enjoying the present.
Yeah,
I'm getting better at realizing that now is what I got, or the present. Like boom, like I said, I ain't won the lottery, but I woke up this morning, I won a life lottery. I ain't done this, but like I'm sitting in the room with friends. I ain't got this, so I'm more like, bam. Do you know the last time we tried to do an interview with this guy, right? I've been trying to get this guy for months, right? And last time we tried to do an interview with him, I think something happened with me, and I was just like, okay, that day, let's cancel that day. We had to cancel that day. Something happened between me and you, whatever, we had to cancel that day. So then I found him the next day or the next 2 days. Okay, cool, boom, we're gonna do it now. And mind you, I've been waiting months to get him to do this thing. And he goes, oh, I'm back in, I'm in Mexico or LA or something like that. I was, oh mate, like I didn't take time and the opportunity that I had in front of me at the time. Do you get what I'm saying? For whatever reason, I was in the past, the present, whatever. I can't remember that day, but I know it was something like that. And then it's just being understanding, because also saying this now, the episode's going to go out later, but the late great Kevin Samuels, like his thing, I've seen this guy online and his shows and how he's grown on social media, just the stuff he talks about as well is very close to me being a black man. But then seeing him as an icon, and then just knowing that you could see him one day and now he's gone. The life is finite. We all know this. Everyone knows this, but we always forget it. We get too involved in the this or that, or what that person done, or what I haven't got, or what I really want to get, and what about what you've got, like, and what you're doing with what you've got. Basically, is that you've won the lottery right now. So it depends what you roll with it. Do you know what I mean? And that.
Well, also, if you feel dissatisfied with what you got now, then it's possible to change it. Like that's the one key thing. Like everything's changing, right? So it's okay not to be like completely, like you could have a terrible day, right? But then it's like that's not going to last forever. So
you got life, you got a chance.
And a lot of it's done.
This is what I'm saying.
Perspective and perception. You know what I mean? So where are you looking at? What are you focusing on? Do you get what I'm saying? It's like you said. I always say to people, gratitude over happiness. And I say gratitude, you know what I mean? Gratitude is the gate to happiness. If you don't go through the gate of gratitude, you'll never be happy.
Well, it's also gratitude and being content is like the same thing almost, right? It's like I'm grateful for this thing now.
You know, like content is almost like you almost like you're kind of just you're okay with it. You get what I'm saying? Like content is like I'll deal with it. It's like dealing with something. You know, like it doesn't have enough. Like for me, what gratitude means, like it's really appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Appreciation for things that you should be appreciated for. But understanding that the simple things to be appreciated for. Where content is like, oh, yeah, I'm all right.
The funny thing is also, you know, like anticipation is like the big joy, right? It's not it's not hitting the target. It's the anticipation of the target. So when they did studies, they're like, okay, well, all the leading up to it, the idea that I'm going to win the trophy is the most satisfying thing.
100%.
And then when they get the trophy, they go, all right, I got the trophy. And the next day they're like, yeah, now what?
Wait, I want to get that. I want you to repeat that for me, like, and we'll chop it up a bit because we've got battery as well. We're going to go live, just for a minute. So what you were saying, what about?
So they find the greatest pleasure is taken.
That's the one. The greatest pleasure. Thank you. Sorry.
Achieved through the anticipation of something, not the actual success of having it itself.
Yeah.
So when you get it itself, often there is like, oh well, now what?
Yeah.
You know, I hit this milestone in my career. Now where do I go next? Or and so there's a lot of dissatisfaction when people actually hit their goals.
Yeah.
Whereas before they hit the goals, it's no dissatisfaction. It's all drive, anticipation. It's a pleasure release.
Yeah.
So I think in some ways when you learn that as the journey, and rather than having these like, I want this, I want to hit this goal, right? All those goals are moving targets, and as long as you can appreciate that and kind of accept that, you'll have a great time. But as soon as you go, I'm going to be this top thing, I'm going to climb the ladder to this point, or I want to make $1 million, whatever it is, and you hit that, trust me, you're not going to be happy afterwards.
No. Yeah.
And so that's like one of the key things about
that applies to relationships as well. Like when if you don't sleep with someone straight away, you have much better time with them, and you feel a bit more intense for them. Do you get what I'm saying? Like we was even talking about earlier. I've experienced that a lot.
Both.
Like there's been times where you might even have there's places where you can go to be, just to get where you want to get, but you're still you're talking to multiple people. But the one that may hold it off, not just because she's holding it, just naturally your interactions with them is not sexual. Sometimes that person you end up growing feelings for
a friend.
It has to be,
more. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like in terms of growing feelings, or even just when you do have the sex, it's better than if you just link up a couple of days later, have the sex. You maybe stop talking. A bit quicker.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? But if you just left it a bit.
So I'll tell you something. There's a study when they said this is by the Huberman lab in Stanford. They said that if you don't have sex for a week, like you don't the testosterone level rises by 400%. So in a guy,
No.
yeah. So actually, like that's giving you the sensation of like I want, like I'm hunting, right? There's like, and so
get hungry.
That is a different experience from if you just get instant gratification.
Do you understand?
So then, like, it goes both of you corroborating the fact that it's not the end goal, it's the journey and the leading up to it. Because if that anticipation or that journey, because then for me it just means you appreciate it more at the end of it as well.
Yeah, you do.
'Cause if you just dash me something, I'm not going to appreciate it, like which a lot of people want right now. But if you have to work, blood, sweat and tears, or wait and wine and dine, and open yourself up in relationships and talk to and get to understand what two people want, what you want, what they don't want, and do that kind of dance, the courting kind of thing, you appreciate the end goal so much better. And that is
but the end goal doesn't have to be sex. It could be like a deep relationship, right? So,
no, but the end goal could be anything, like as in like the end goal could be a house on the hill with a Ferrari outside. The end goal could be being on a beach. The end goal could be being able to provide for an orphanage for someone, whatever it is. But some people want it now, like, do you know what I mean? But then the journey that they go on,
well, that's the saying, isn't it? When someone understands the value of money, like you say that not because they have money, it's because they've gone on the journey to understand what it takes to get money.
And you have to, and let's call it honey, because the woman at the end or the man at the end,
money, honey, whatever,
and this at the end is the same thing. It's all like if you know what I mean, it all translates to the same thing. From money to honey. But then this is the thing. I can't remember how we got here, but this is the essence of it. There's a time for everything. There's a time to run around in the field while mum and dad's doing whatever, or whatever we're doing when we're 5 or 6. There's a time for the stuff when we're 15. There's a time for stuff when you're 20. There's a time for stuff when you're 30, 40, 50. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you do it late, then that's because of whatever. I can't articulate that. That is what it is. But you have to go through the heartbreak, the being on your own, the banging your head, the getting banged in your head, and knowing yourself what you want to use, what you don't want to use, to get to where you're okay. That was it. You know, when you're a cub or whatever, you watch your mum hunt, and then there's been time for you to go and hunt. Certain times, birds, animals, they don't get to go through that rite of passage. All that stuff is our rite of passage for us to evolve into our optimal self.
I mean, that's definitely something I think is interesting, is a lack of, especially for men, the lack of rite of passage in our contemporary society. This is like just unbelievable.
This is why but that's where you get what he was talking about. That's what I couldn't articulate. You get people having their thing at the wrong time, or in the wrong thing, or reacting in the wrong ways because they're not getting what they're supposed to get, which is the rite of passage.
And
let's elaborate on this. A man's real like rite of passage.
Recognition that they've gone through the trial.
And
that's the respect from the community as well, which then doesn't happen. So there's no transition point, and then there's no acceptance into the community. These two things are fundamental to having a healthy community and healthy men, and it doesn't happen.
I think it goes back to the internal martial arts, basically. And I just used it as an example. Like, we all should be having a version of our internal martial arts, because your internal martial arts makes you more secure within yourself. If you get what I'm saying. I'm just using that as a word, in the internal martial arts, but your internal strength. You know, like, look at someone like Will Smith. I don't want to keep going back to him.
So imagine there's a route to finding that out, right? The trial, the tribulations to get to. Now, in a lot of societies, even today, there is a process that someone goes through in order to then say, yes, I've achieved that in a state, or I've achieved this ritual or this pathway to then becoming a man, right? I am now a man, thus I have to take on the responsibilities of being a man. It's like I leave my kid shit at home. Yeah. Here, that doesn't happen. So you have like 25-year-old kids running around causing trouble, and they just never became a man.
When you say here, you mean in London?
Yeah. I'm not talking for other places.
Because other places, I was even going to get
I'm from London, right?
Other places do have it in free, but carry on, please.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, I think that's really, really obvious, especially for men, because I think that they, in some ways, we need that guidance.
I feel like the balance is messed up, because, like I say to you, you see, just on perception, a lot of people, say for instance, a lot of people like to judge people off of just looks, basically. Like we even saying, people wouldn't know what he can do. So if he wasn't cool within himself, and he knew someone's looking at him on some, just like they're just looking at him and they thought they've worked him out. He can laugh at it. Sometimes it's funny inside, because people still do it with me as big as I am. You can still see people think they've tried to judge you and not knowing what. You know what it is for me? Do you know what it is for me? Sorry to cut you as well, because I don't want to lose it, because I can see it in you and him. You can't be demasculated, neither can you. Yeah. Because you know what you know, and that's because you are. Do you know what I'm saying? But I didn't finish, but others can. Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you.
You're right. You're going on the same thing that I'm saying. You know, like a lot of men, like a woman can say, you're a pussy. Like, oh, shut up, you're a pussy.
The male period has been demasculated. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying that a woman can say that to a man, and a man would be like, what? Like, that could change. Like, guys could say that to him and then he would not too bothered, but then a woman will say that to him and he will feel like, right, what am I not showing? Start going deep into his head of like, what is it about me that made her feel? Do you know what I'm saying?
I just laugh.
People, people saying, oh, you're soft. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
but that's because you've got something that can make you feel like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Not everyone's.
Wait, I've been through enough to know definitely not.
Do you know what I'm saying? But even though, let's say, as people talking that, we may not have the same issue as those guys, I still have empathy for, like I'm saying, you know, like the balance of it. If people look at, that's what I was going to talk about Will Smith again. I hate using him as an example because I've used him a few times, but the way when you've gone up, it was to go and slap this guy to be in honor of your wife. It's a bit too late for that kind of behavior. Even the time where you're doing it is a bit, but you didn't have that thing inside you that knew. Yeah. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, she can't make me feel like I'm.
It's too late.
By doing that, he showed he had the egg on his face.
Do you understand?
Right.
Literally.
Do you know what?
When the egg didn't exist.
Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Do you know what?
You take the insult, then you own it. You carry it, right? Then it worked.
And then she looks at you.
Yeah.
Or whatever, gives you a nudge.
Whereas you just go, yeah, right. Then the insult doesn't work. It doesn't have any power.
But you know what? It happened. What it is. Yeah. It's what it is. Yeah. If I could elaborate this, if I could articulate this for you right now, it's like. The demasculation of the man is so fundamental. It's across the board, like on the internet, like women's independence, not taken away from that. Men can't do this, you can do this. Like there's so much stuff out there, and then single parents, families. There's so many things for the young person coming up where they don't actually have the example of a male whatever role model. Yeah. What they've got is what's on TV here, what's on Sky, what this person's doing, what that person's doing, what Will Smith's doing, what this person's saying is right, what that person's saying is right. There's no real filter on that. There's a million and one things coming at you, and some people ain't got the dad to tell them that. So that in itself is the Happy Meal. Or that's McDonald's, right? And then they're picking from McDonald's menu thinking it's okay, but it's not okay. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? This is how I'm meshing it together. And that's why we're at the state where we're at. Like, it's a lot. You know better than to eat at McDonald's now. No, I know better than to eat at McDonald's now. Or I know what is on that menu I can actually eat.
The other thing is, like, you know, we're designed in some ways to protect people, right? That's
men.
Yeah. And what occurs is men are ending up protecting other men. Like, okay, so they're my friends, so we're going to will protect each other. And yet in history, it's always been the man is protecting the kids, the elders, the family group or the family community. That's what they're protecting. They're not protecting other men. You know, that's just a gang of fucking bandits, right?
Wow.
So it's like if that
preach that shit, man.
Yeah, if that's like incorporated into like that process of becoming a man, it's like actually you're here to take care of all the people, all the shapes and sizes around you. You know, like that's being a man. Like, and I don't want to go down a real men bullshit. Like all men are real men, all that stuff. Like
community though, you're strong on community. Yeah. We embody that as far as I'm concerned.
And by doing that, then they're accepted and taken into the community, and then they're part of something which is bigger than them. And then it's not about ego, it's not about this and that. It's about how you find your role and your place in society in a positive way. And that I think is missing hugely. And I think for me personally, like I've gone through quite a lot of stages that there were parts of that are now come together in a sort of puzzle to go, now you're sort of in the place you're meant to be. But there wasn't one thing, right? Yeah. And I think that's a sort of one part of my journey is that realization that that's something that's sort of lacking and would really be great, you know? It'd be great, like to have this... have a sort of ritual, have a initiation process, rite of passage, yeah. Even if it's just part of school, and they go, okay, well now you're graduating, you're going to be like you're going out to the world. You're 16, don't have to go to school anymore, but you're not an adult, right? So there's that weird place, you know, like, well, what's your benefit to society? What are you doing? You know, like, how are you helping people? None of that exists.
No.
Who you are, like how finding out about who you personally are, because a lot of people are being told who they are, what they're supposed to be. Yeah, that's what's going on now. From like birth, all of them subliminal stuff on the teeny toppers, babies, it's all there. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like I'm saying, more than when we was growing up, even though it was happening, a lot of people are being told, and then
even more now. Yeah,
there's so much more of it. So it's so much harder to. Bruv, I was on the train the other day and everyone knows. Everyone was just on their screen like that. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. How do you infiltrate that if it's your kid?
But it's also it's all about money. So it's like this idealization of billionaires. Like, I'm sorry, if you're a billionaire, that just means that a load of people have not eaten any food. Like,
yeah, that's what I say.
You're not someone to look up to.
Serious.
You're a greedy motherfucker. Serious. Like, you're a billionaire, you're greedy. Like, that is it. Or the society's so wrong. So like, that's a wrong distribution of wealth. And I think there's a lot of idealization of like wealth in the point that it's trying to sell you things that wealth can bring, but none of those things are about happiness.
No,
none of them.
It's about being lazy. So then, like, a lot of people, why they want to be wealthy is just to sit down and not have to do anything.
Or they think that the attributes are the things that have value, right? So by having that and you have the money, you can buy something that brings you value. And so again, they get to the point where they get it and they go, well, that's hollow, you know. But they've spent a lot of their life trying to get there.
That you're looking at, it's like there's.
Didn't bring you the goodness.
The inanimate object is just there, whether it is.
It's not nourishing. There's no nourishment there.
Yeah.
You know, and the soul, like, I think the people, we need to be nourished and we need to be recognised as being like individuals who have a purpose and a great value to each other, and like that's what makes, like, you know. And in some ways, look, I'm not Christian. I'm not particularly a fan of like organised religion, but
no.
I'm sort of Buddhist. I'm sort of like a lot of things, but like, you know, I do understand why there's a great function within that space in church as well, which is like people coming together who don't necessarily know each other, but they're part of a community, and it's old, it's young, it's all that stuff. You know, like how many times do kids get into that space? It's so rare because we're all living in these divided little castles or little own
boxes,
and who knows their neighbours. Like, I know my neighbours because I make a thing of talking to them. I bet you talk to your neighbours. I bet your neighbours are like putting up soundproofing, try and stop you talking to them.
But you know what I mean? Like, if you, the ones that are permanent.
Most people don't talk to their neighbours even. And that is literally somebody who's living like 2 foot away from you on the other side of a wall.
That's someone you might need one day, and they might need you.
It's just human. Like, they're living next to you. Yeah. And so that's all been destroyed and degraded. And then I think that like, you know, that's sort of the separation that's occurring, why people feel isolated, especially in big cities like this, and that's a big cause of this depression, this unhappiness that then people are trying to search for like how to be happy course, or, you know, all that stuff they're trying to sell you is just because you're already upset in some ways. You're already lacking something because you weren't given the context in the first place to say, actually, forget about all that. What you are is unique. You're beautiful as an individual. Let's make you come alive, and let's give you the tools to make you realise who you can be. So few of that out there. It's usually an agenda of some sort to get some money out of you or to utilize yourself. Like when we're born on our birth certificate, we have a number. The government is using those numbers to draw down debt. So we have a value. You have a value. You have a value per year.
Elaborate on that.
Each citizen has a specific, like, sort of medium amount of worth to the economy that they're doing. So our birth certificates allow the government to take debt, to draw down money, because they know that in 20 years' time there'll be this amount of people earning money, so the economy will be X. That's how they know. So you have a specific value to the economy, which the government then borrows against to then build things.
So it's really, really, really like the Matrix.
It's that level. Yeah. And that's also why a lot of our studies and so forth have literally gone from like, okay, how do you go straight into society in a way which is like a sort of 9-to-5 job, and we can extract as much value from you, because that's still Victorian time
ethics or ethos.
Like, well, it's a 9-to-5, like you go and do the work in the factory.
Yeah.
Right? And so
that's how the government gets their money, and that blueprint.
That's how they borrow money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The workforce.
Yeah.
And it's still working for them now. They're raising inflation or something at the moment, they said, isn't it?
I think they're mismanaging the money, personally. But.
Of course they're mismanaging it. Of course they're mismanaging it.
There's no such thing as money anymore.
What government manages anything good?
If it's not backed by anything, they're just saying what they want to say, and then they can print what they want to print and change the number on the computer. It's just an agreed concept.
Yeah.
We just agree on it. When someone transfers you money, what are they transferring you?
Well, that's the whole philosophy of money, anyways. It's an agreed bartered transaction, right?
Yeah, but at least something that was backed behind it. At least it gave it a bit more weight.
Well, they showed that they don't have to do that to then still have the trust. Like I could forgive you 20 quid. I'm giving you 20 quid right now.
Yeah.
It might not be backed by gold, but you still go, yeah, I got 20 quid. Right?
They've established the
trust
thing
is
where,
still there, which is genius.
In the concept.
But in terms of when you look at a globalized economy, that's where it really starts to be disrupted. Because not everyone trusts everyone else's money. Right?
What do you mean?
So, for instance, it's really easy to look at this right now. You've got the ruble, which is crashing.
That's Indian money?
It's the Russian money.
Oh, Russian. Rubles.
Yeah. And then you have like the yuan, which is the Chinese money, but that's crashing because they're locked down for COVID still. So that's been dropping. So the trust of whether or not that currency be worth anything, people going, well, you've still got COVID problems, so we might not buy from you. So the value goes down. And then you look at the American money really only has value, not because it's pegged to gold, but because it's pegged to the barrel of oil. That's what the USD is pegged to.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the IRS just printing money.
No, well they are, but it's actually linked to the price of oil. So that's why whenever you have a question around oil prices, the whole US economy is like, that's the price of the dollar. And that's also why they like to go and disrupt other oil producing countries. So they can control the price of the dollar, or the price per barrel, which is quoted in dollars. Yeah. Okay. So if you type in right now price per barrel of oil, it's going to give you an answer in dollars, not in pounds, because that's how you buy oil. To
the bearer, I promised to
give
bear
you dollars.
The fee. No, not on the money. They got that thing, whatever it says. To the bearer, I promised to. Even I don't walk with cash. I just got cards right now.
Yeah, it's so easy just to use cards now. Or even your phone, like it's so next level. You just tap it and you go. And that's even a bit far from me. I'm sort of like.
You don't do that.
Well, not on the phone. I do the cards, all the time.
I
very rarely carry cash. Very rarely. Yeah.
So what was it like? So you come out of art college, and then what did you do? Because I know you went to China before
that, I did 5 years. Yeah.
But then you went to China again.
Yeah. So I did 5 years of Bash Creations, which was my company in the space, and we had that nightclub and. Did all kinds of stuff, loads of clients, loads of chaos, lots of fun.
Yeah,
and then
I've done a few events there.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. And then I decided to go to China. Yeah, and I went off to China and I started my own business.
Doing?
So actually, the first thing I did was start consulting on a Chinese technology company, and I was consulting on all aspects of it, from sales, value systems, operations, raising money, directions, goals, team management, all that stuff. So I was working with the CEO, COO and chairman. And there's like a 250 person company. So I was restructuring it effectively to make it more successful. But the money from that was used to start a company which the focus was sustainable lifestyles. So it was about, again, how people could live more sustainably.
Whose money? Your money?
Yeah, that I'd earned from it.
Okay.
So it was then put into like sustainable lifestyles. So it was like how to leave the world a better place because you exist again. And it's like this thread of like value system versus like just trying to kind of collect all the money and run off. Mm-hmm. So like I really went to China to try and help and try and make a difference. And I ended up there for 6 years. A long time.
Chinese?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Go on, give me some. Say something to me. Say, hey, how you doing, my big brother?
你好，怎么样?
I'm good, bro.
我朋友.
我朋友.
Yeah, it's like you're my friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got whoop on my ass. 我朋友.
No, whooping ass. I don't know what whooping ass is in Chinese.
So how was that?
It was mad because, you know, firstly, it's a completely different country, like opposite of English and West and all that stuff. But secondly, they literally have like a...
You're in mainland China?
Yeah, I was in Beijing, heart of the beast. And, you know, it literally is like locked off. So you can't access Facebook, you can't access Google, like all these things. It's like it goes through the Chinese internet filter. So when I was there, I didn't really have much news of the outside world. So it's a bit like being in this giant fishbowl, right? Because it's so big, there's so much going on, but at the same time, you don't really know the truth of what's going on outside. You get bits and pieces of like what's happening, and then you have to use like a VPN in order to see anything or access any of your messages and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was a bit of a sort of like
what's a VPN?
A virtual private network. So it's like almost like circumnavigating. You're basically sending the signal from your phone or your computer to somewhere else that doesn't look like it's China, and so when China receives it, they don't block it.
So they block the shit.
They have every single in and out for China for the internet is blocked or checked. Yeah, they have filters, so they stop anything that they don't like.
Okay.
It's like imagine like in complete censorship over all of our internet. So no Twitter, no Facebook, no Google, no Instagram, none of that. And even if they do like it, they sort of slow down the internet. So the best ones are the Chinese apps. They work fine. It's so clever, so clever. But it's it told me a lot. You know, it's an ancient culture. It's unbroken almost for 6,000 years, and you know, it's not really communist. It's probably one of the most capitalist places I've ever seen. You know, or been around. So it's a very interesting culture, very deep. A lot to learn from it, and I think a lot of people sort of immediately reflect on the things they don't like about Chinese culture, and they go, "Well, this is I couldn't possibly," or you know, they do this, and it's like. Yeah, they do things we don't like, but on the same hand, they're doing amazing other stuff. Like, and there's a lot to learn from it, you know. So it's not one way or the other.
I'm sure we do things that Chinese people don't like.
100%, yeah. And so that's really interesting. When I went there, I had a very much like a cultural sort of reflection. I really saw myself and the differences that I had in ideologies and stuff. So I really let go of that as well, and just sort of like went, okay, what if I just suspend my own belief and like really learn and take it for what it is. So that taught me a lot, and it taught me a lot about how people perceive their identity, like you as an English person or you as like this person or that thing, you know. And there's so many things again of like being brainwashed into you to think like that's how it is, and actually it's not. Like, you know, like there's so like a completely different culture can do things completely different, and it works for them. And that, but if you were to try and do it your way, it wouldn't work for them because they're different. So there's like a really interesting like dichotomy there between like, again, retaining some degree of identity of yourself and also saying, well, I'm going to suspend that, and what's the universal identity of people? You know, what's that about? And that was being really positive. Yeah, it was hard, but it was really positive. Yeah.
What was the most exotic thing you ate in China? Because I know they eat a lot of things that people don't like to eat or whatever.
I ate so many things.
Seriously? Like,
yeah.
Like what?
I also
did you eat a bat?
Served thing. I don't remember eating bat. I ate locust. Silkworm mother, which is like a sort of pulper like that.
What's that? That's like them worms, them grubs they eat in Australia.
The grub.
Full of juice and pus.
Yeah, but it tastes good.
It tastes nice, yeah?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
What's it like?
I definitely ate like sheep's testicles, I think. Brain, guts, intestine, like blood.
But Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, let's slow down, man. Wait.
You get everything.
Yeah. So you done because you going fast. the grub thing. What was that like?
I think it's a seasoning that tasted nice, but I remember having loads, and then they
So
brought
what
me
do?
another
Was it
plate.
deep fried or?
Yeah, I think so. And they brought me another plate, and I was like, oh no. And then I had to eat more that I didn't want to eat, but so I learned like never finish the plate unless you.
Okay, they bring you more food.
Yeah.
What? So
Yeah.
What?
I that was with the Shaolin monks. So I ended up traveling. What happened when I went to study Shaolin was that I went and met the actually the guy who teach me was national forms champion. So he's like the same level with Jet Li.
Okay.
Very like top guy.
Okay.
And he was unhappy at the school he was teaching, so we decided to leave in secret. So I left with them to start a new school.
Okay.
And so that school just got, there's a National Geographic thing that said things change your life, just came out as a supplement, and number one was to attend the new school that they did.
Okay, nice.
And that was in National Geographic Global. So the thing
to change your life. Okay,
yeah.
Nice,
so
nice,
the thing
nice,
I
nice.
ended up doing has now become like one of the top things in the world to do to change your life. And it's done by the guys who I went, and I gave the first donation, and I was the first students with my friend. Like,
nice.
That was it. Like, so it's amazing. Some of the stuff I've done really catalyzed into, you know, and I was just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So that was really powerful. And having that one-to-one teaching, it wasn't in a class, it was one-to-one. So that's how I studied. And it was pretty direct.
Yeah. So you got that one-to-one benefit, man.
Yeah.
You learn faster, innit?
Yeah, very much, yeah.
Going back to the food. Because we talk about the food.
Yeah.
So did you eat the
I had
food?
everything from like the best food I've ever had to very sketchy food, yeah.
Yeah, it's intestine. Why did you drink blood?
Because they serve duck blood, it's a thing.
Duck blood.
Yeah.
Of all blood to drink.
Duck, yeah. And it's like these red cubes. It tastes all right, but like...
It's what?
It's quite heavy. Well, it's like, it's congealed. So you eat it congealed. Congealed duck blood, yeah.
So you're chewing it? You chew it or you swallow it or what?
Yeah, it's a bit like tofu, I guess. You sort of bite into it and then swallow it down. Yeah. It's full on.
Oh.
It's all right.
Yeah. What? Nasty, man. That sounds rank.
Lion's balls.
They also
had the lion's balls.
I definitely had some balls, yeah. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy.
Pause.
Pause, yeah.
I'm not pausing.
It was like in a soup.
Right,
It was in a soup. I didn't know what it was. It was all in a soup. And then I like cut it open. I was like, there's only one thing in the world this could be.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was at a banquet. It was like a government banquet. And I felt like, oh shit, I had to like look like I was eating it. Because I'd eaten a bit. And I was like, oh, this just really doesn't make me feel good.
It reminds me of Indiana
But
Jones.
the worst,
that food,
the worst thing that really made me feel sick.
I feel sick now.
Was there was a Mongolian hot pot, right?
Yeah.
And it's like really boiling soup, and you put the food in and cook it. And so they bring over the prawns, but they're alive, but they've had the skin taken off, but they're still clapping. You chuck them in and they're boiled out live, but then some of them are like runching over the edge and they're like escaping, and then they'll pick them up while they're still alive and twitching and eat them like. And I was like, "Wow, you're literally eating the animal live while it's tried to stop being boiled alive." It was just like a bit heavy. What? It wasn't very tasty, that one. It failed me, like, stuck
what was
with
it?
me.
Mongolian hot pot.
It was like a live prawn that's been like just dipped in boiling water and then taken out, and they're still like twitching and still fighting, and then you eat it. Yeah, like eating live animals, it's not really my thing. I have a friend of mine who ate a monkey brain at a meeting, and he said it was like not good, but he felt he had to do it. Yeah, and that was in the south, down in Yunnan. And what they do is it's horrible. Yeah, they make a hole in the table.
Yeah.
And they put the monkey in, and they lock the monkey in, and they cut the head off the monkey, and the monkey's still alive, and then they spoon out the brain as the monkey's alive, and they eat it. That's how they do it. That's next level. Yeah. Have you ever seen Io just stop talking like that? Ever?
Huh? Yeah. It's
the first time. Silence.
Haven't you seen it in the movies? When
the
monkey's brains in the middle of the table.
They cut it open live.
Yeah,
it's live.
Still alive. Even the way they cook
it's not
lobster.
good. That's not good.
Lobster needs to be alive just before you eat.
We'll go back to...
Yeah, but lobster is dead when you eat it. Whereas
Yeah,
this
it's dead
one's
when you eat it.
This one's It's like still alive. And also it's a monkey, which is so close to us. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not on that.
I don't want to eat no animal's brains alive.
No.
I don't even want to eat no animal's brains.
No.
What about snake? Is that a dish over there as well?
So I've had snake blood, but I haven't eaten snake.
What's with you and drinking blood?
Dude, if you've been to the places...
Yeah, I know what I said. And the pun was intended as well.
If you've been in the places I've been, you'd probably have tried the things I've tried. I've had snake venom as well.
Okay.
On purpose?
Yeah.
So, like, you sipped it?
Yeah.
Okay,
why?
Like a shot.
Because did you hear what he said? I can't tell you what he said.
Well, you end up in these places which you're like, it's just you and the locals, and they're like, hey, and it's like a gift. And if you don't accept the gift, you look like a complete dick. And then they don't trust you, and there's a whole level to it all.
Yeah.
So you end up having to like participate.
Have you seen Indiana Jones? You ain't seen Indiana Jones? I know he's not. He's just being like Hollywood black, but the same film where they have the monkey brains, bro. See, Indiana Jones have the monkey brains, yeah.
That's one of the things I just can't do though.
When they first land in that as well, they land in a village, and the village people they get them together and that, and you've got the blonde bird. Don't know what her name is. Anyway, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and like they're talking, they're telling what's going on, and they give them food. But the food, I don't know what it is, some dough and something, whatever. But you pick up the food in your hand, and it's good like that. And the fly flies on it, and he goes, eat, and they're like, duck, like eat, because it's in India. But she's like, oh no, I'm good. But he's like, no, you have to eat, because it's disrespect. This is more food than these people have seen in a month, but this is about hospitality right now. She have to eat this thing, and she's like,
I mean, if you want to like be the permanent tourist and not be accepted, but you don't. You go in. Right? That's why you're there in the first place, is to experience things, right?
Do you know what? I've eaten something I didn't want to eat. Not on that level though. But eating it and just gone on like, it's nice when it was nasty.
Was it balls again?
Nah. Do you know? Do you know what? I don't even know what it was. To be honest with you, I can't remember what it was. But it was when I was in the States, and there was a Mexican guy. It was Mexican food, and the guy invited me to his house. The guy was such a nice guy. Like I was like I am now, and I just like got friends. He just invited me for dinner, so it's cool. His mum's cooking the food,
Yeah,
so I
you
go
can't
there,
not say. Yeah, you can't. Mum's cooking the food.
Yeah, mum's cooking food. You sit down with that. Mum sits across the table from me, and then you got him sitting there. We eat. He's like, it's my mum, and he's really proud and really happy that he's brought me to his house and stuff. Yeah. And I went eat this. I can't remember what it was, but I ate. When I put it in my mouth, oh my god. It was just, I didn't know how to stomach it, but I had to stomach it. It was a lot. It could have been.
That made you a better man, that did.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because you saw your boundary, but you still pushed through.
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
I had respect for the guy. The guy was a really nice guy. He didn't need to put me in front of him. It was just, you know what I mean? I had to, and I just said it was really nice and left it. But I was still scarred by it. But I still remember it. But yeah.
You lot are good, because depending on the texture and the smell, sometimes you can knock off your nose.
The smell is too. That's the if it's a bad smell, it's real hard, no matter what, because it just gets you like the back of your sinus, and you're like,
I actually feel sick now, like seriously.
Thinking about it.
About everything you've spoken about.
Yeah. But China's one place. Like I went to.
Sweet, seriously, they don't got a sweet.
You need some more of that rum.
There's none left. My belly's turning, man.
There's really none.
No, he's experiencing PTSD from food in this moment.
You don't think I'm joking? I'm not even joking. I
hate to think what would happen if you actually ate all the things I've eaten.
Nothing sweet to eat. Nothing.
Sweet, mate.
Let me try and manage, man.
You put some cocoa butter.
I've done him.
No, it's my own imagination. Let me try and get out of there.
We took you there.
Ooh.
I mean, I've been.
Don't start fucking talking about stuff.
A lot of different Asian countries, right? So it's not just China.
Yeah, don't start talking about more horrible food, because I know what you're like.
Have you done like round the worlds?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of places.
Yeah, because I can hear that. Where have you? Let's just give us a quick list.
Some of them. Okay, let's start with Asia. So, Japan, Korea, China, Mongolia, Tibet,
nice.
Myanmar, which is Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Philippines,
all over it.
India, Bhutan's cool. That's a lot of Asia. There might be a few other places there, but at least those. And then obviously like been down to Arab Emirates, Turkey, and these are not stopovers. These are like places I've actually been. And then a lot of Europe. I'm not even going to go through Europe. You're just a lot of different places in Europe. And then Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, places in the Caribbean, and then all across America. But I haven't been to South America. I've been Central America, like Mexico, that. I haven't been to South America, I really want to go. And then I haven't been to Africa, I really want to go.
Okay. I'll take you.
Yeah? Whereabouts? Nigeria,
and I want to go to Ghana, but there's so much other countries to visit.
Yeah.
It's there, just we get on a plane, get a plane ticket and go when the time's right.
Where in Nigeria?
We go to Lagos, we go to Delta, we go to Abuja, take some beaches. You know what I'm saying? We do some travelling, man.
I'd like to go to Nigeria, definitely.
So move around.
I don't want to go there like as a tourist on my own. I'd like to go with people know. Yeah. Because I get the feeling it's like it's got so much to explore, but it's not necessarily tourist places. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's the same in every country. Don't you think
no,
so?
It's not. No, some places have like Italy, right? It's like you don't need to know a local. You could just go and they'll go to this coast or go to that thing. Mm-hmm. But there's certain places that like it's not as historically tourist trap. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like the good bits. You have to know someone local.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like easy travel. You know.
Kenya's a bit more tourist friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Namibia.
Like Nairobi, Mombasa.
Never been there. I've got to do some more traveling. I'd love to go on holidays. I don't know what would happen if we went on holiday though. I'll probably end up somewhere. I won't be eating the freaking testicles. I'll tell you that for nothing. Serious. I'll be like, yeah. I'll be passing my plate to you.
Now.
Yeah, I'll pass my plate to him. I don't give a shit.
You won't be eating them. You won't even know.
If we end up
putting them in his pocket for later, so no one sees him eating it. He'll be storing it up. I'll be like, what's in your wash bag? Why you got a load of bollocks?
You're talking a load of bollocks.
All dried up and stuff. Yeah, I like it when it's dry. Ugh.
Oh mate, where do we
all
get
chewy and stuff?
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'll be like, you kept the ball sack on it. You're not going to do that.
Why is this? Why he's going to wanker like you know? He's going to go the whole hog with the ball. Give me the ball. He's going to run down the road with it. All right, moving on smoothly to the next subject. We've got.
You got your constitution back. Good.
My constitution, yeah. I'd hate to lose my constitution. What you're doing today now, and how leading up to that, because I think you've always had a link to wanting to help people and helping people. As long as I've known you, apart because you've got many sides to you, like any human being. There's sides to you like us going out partying and all that. There's those sides to you, but there's also always been this side of wanting to help people and being a defender and being an advocate of certain things. And this is just everything links in for me. So. I suppose you talk to me about what you're doing now today over the past 5 years since you came back from China, because you was in China for a little while and I never saw you. The next day I was in wherever I was, and then you're back now. When you was back on the ground, I was happy because you was far away. So I love you. Do you know what I mean?
You were in an insane asylum, weren't you?
Yeah. Thanks for putting it like that. But this guy knows how to put it. Yeah. I was banging that for a little while. Yeah, just
by accident.
By accident. Yeah.
The most amazing story I've ever heard.
Yeah. I love these.
If you haven't told it, if he hasn't told it, he needs to tell it on one of his. It's the best story I ever heard.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, go on. In America, that was. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
So where was we coming back from?
Yeah, after China. So I left China because I felt I'd done my bit, and after 6 years, it sort of was like, I'm going to stay here permanently or I'm leaving. And I thought, no, I've got other things to do. So I left. I hadn't seen my parents at that time for about not properly for like 9 years.
Okay.
So I'd really been on my own, sort of exploring the world and looking after myself. And I wanted to spend more time with the family and bring them back together. And my dad at the time also had cancer. So I thought, it's important to reconnect and spend time. And so I came back to UK, and I basically refused all work. I just thought, okay, I'm just going to try and find out who I am and do things. So I went back to studying. And I went and did a postgraduate at Stanford University.
So you refused to work and you went into studying what?
Yeah. So I studied corporate innovation at Stanford.
Okay.
and at the GSB, it's the business school.
Okay.
And then I went and did another postgraduate at Cambridge for sustainability leadership. And then I did about 6 other courses that were like really unique courses that I knew about from around the world that were very special, and they sort of like augmented my skill set. And it was interesting. I sort of was checking because, you know, I was an art student, but I'd done a load of projects in business by then. And I was just like, am I just making this up as I go along? Like, what am I, like, I needed to sort of have a reality check, right? So I was getting.
Yeah,
that's
no, you
why
was doing it. What you was doing. That's your legacy.
What I was doing already. Yeah. So I was like, you know, and so I was like, okay, I need to check on some reflection of this. So I went to study at the best places in the world for those subjects, and it was great because I learned a lot, connected to a lot of people. But I also learned there was things that I was doing that they didn't do, and that was really good because it was like, I think some of it was necessary. Things like around empathy and happiness and understanding people and working with people less as people as objects and more people as real human beings and stuff like that. So that was cool, and that was about 1.5 years. And then I took on one project which was basically the client I had before, which was I think 2nd or 3rd largest automobile company in the world, said
3rd largest what? Bill?
Automobile company.
Oh, automobile.
Yeah, car company.
Yeah, say car, man. America's is changing you, man.
So they went. We want to work out how to put artificial intelligence into our company. So I end up writing the blueprint for them.
Okay.
So I got the contract for that, and I wrote the plan for how over the next 15 years they were going to use artificial intelligence across the entire company. And this is like, I think, 12th largest company in the world. So it's got nearly 300,000 staff. And so I did that at a sort of meta level. And then I did a little project also with the Scottish government about how their innovation protocol was working. And I wrote, again, like a blueprint for them, which is now done really well. It's now in 15 countries. And
just stop you one sec. You're saying, so the first one, because you're saying you're writing the blueprint for AI in the machines and everything from the beginning to end. So what does that mean for the 300 workers? Does that mean they're not going to be working on anything no more?
300,000. Do you know, I don't know the full implications, but it's
rather not know.
It's going to happen anyway. It's not like there's no turning the tide on that. That, you know, a lot of it was them picking up. They have sensors in all the cars, and they have sensors on the factories, and they have sensors, and they have then data points in all the transactions that they do throughout the history of interacting with the customer, like from after sales all the way to someone placing an order and all that stuff. So none of that was going to the same place, right? So what they're doing is they're drawing all these data points, which, you know, I think per car it's something like 2,000 every second. There's a point, and that's every car. So like getting all these different data points into one place, which is called a data lake, and then saying like, how do we look at this data, and then how do we use that data for our commercial or improving the company? So it wasn't directly around jobs. It was more about having a layer of like data intelligence on top of the company, which they could start to program into artificial intelligence protocols and algorithms, which would then make things more efficient. Or say, for instance, you sell a car here, then the factory knows to produce another car. Just that on-demand stuff, which never happened before. It was all guesswork. So it's very, very efficient compared to just like, you know, trying to work. I mean, how can you work out a place that it's global, it has so many staff, has many, you know, you can't. It's like automating that data point. Yeah. And then did the thing with the Scottish government, which was great. And then I did another project for a bank. And I sort of like, those were the only projects I did. And then my dad got pretty sick. And at that time it was like, okay, well, what helps him? And it was at the time it was CBD, and CBD had just become legal in the UK, and so I started sourcing the CBD for him. And there was very little information about it, so like no lab reports or anything. So I end up sourcing it from the US, and then when I was sourcing it from the US, which was the highest quality, like 10 years of regs by that point,
regulations.
They realised it was onto something, and then opened a shop for CBD. It was the first shop in the UK for that. And it just blew up. So we had like loads of press. I think 45 different press interviews in the first year, like BBC like 3 times. You had the superintendent of the Met Police come and do a photo shoot there, and like, you know, it was just like madness. And we learned that basically a lot of the products that people were doing weren't very good, so we started producing our own products at high quality. And that's gone on now for the last 4 years, and now we just got nominated Best Edible in the world. For the biggest awards, and we're now selling in US, Europe, and UK, and we're just about to start selling in Japan.
What do you sell?
CBD products.
No. When you say edible,
so those are gummies. Yeah, they're vegan gummies, and they're delicious, and they're 25 megs each, and they're like, and you could eat one of those and just go to sleep. Perfect. But there's just the thing is that industry
CBD without the THC.
Yeah. So it was helping my dad, and then he didn't have to take as many opiates, which was really good. And he went through the process of dying, whereby he was actually a lot more lucid than he would be otherwise, because he wasn't taking such heavy morphines and stuff. So that really showed me, like, it allowed me to connect with my father on a deeper and more lucid level than I would have had he been
under the medical
under
meds,
all the meds, right?
Yeah.
And the doctors were like, "How are you doing this? Because you should be in a lot of pain." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm fine," but he was having a lot of CBD.
But was he smoking it or eating it?
Tincture under the tongue. So it's like, you know, it's a very effective painkiller, and it was a very effective mitigator on the nervous system for him. So that was a very powerful experience for me. And probably since then, and before that, you know, last 3 years I end up talking to someone who's usually like basically chronically ill or dying once a week about what they need to help them. And it's quite heavy, but it's also helpful. So I end up helping people get closer to death in a positive way. Wow. And that's quite a serious job. Like in society, there isn't much information like that. There's not much support. So there's a lot of people who are able to lessen their suffering from the activity that we've been doing.
That's
well
amazing.
done.
No, we have
Well
to
done.
do that.
Yeah, well done.
That's big.
And it's you know, that plant has been used for, again, like 6,000 years of recorded history to help people, and it's just been demonized in the last 70 years, right? And so
misused by some people.
Well, the misuse has really happened because of the black market. So what happened is you stopped having like fresh organic weed that was actually quite healthy, and then it's gone into like this very strong skunk, which is like hyper sort of like, it's like skunk, it's like people on steroids, right? So you have people train, and you have the people train and then inject themselves with steroids. They're not healthy, right? They're big, but they're not healthy. And you know, at the end of the day, they can't keep doing that for long. That's basically what skunk is. It's a plant with steroid injections, right? Mostly, at least the stuff that you generally get on the black market in the UK. So, you know, that's not medical. That's not really helpful for people, like, at the end of the day. And like, there's a whole spectrum there, which you know, that's come because it was outlawed and it wasn't like managed. So the UK now, having made it medically legal, they have an obstacle, which is they don't have very many GPs trained in it. I think there are 25 GPs trained that could actually prescribe cannabis to people who are sick. Okay. But there is 3 to 4 million eligible people in the UK. That's the scope of like people actually eligible to use cannabis medically.
It's a lot.
It's
huge. That it would benefit.
No, that's exactly. So they have a condition which cannabis
which is necessary
helps incredibly to solve, like something that you don't have to take other meds. You take cannabis, and your illness is going away. So that's 3 to 4 million in the UK alone. But there's only 25 GPs who are, you know,
qualified to do it. How do you facilitate it? Yeah.
So there's a huge bottleneck, right? And in terms of access, so that's the whole thing now. But we're looking.
And it doesn't have to be prescribed though. The one that they need, like, can they? Like,
so CBD doesn't have to be prescribed. THC does. Okay. There's 3 to 4 million who need THC.
Okay, those guys need THC.
Yeah, CBD. Okay. I mean, technically, we could all use it. So I read something very interesting, which is that how they used to graze animals, they used to eat the hemp plants, and so there was a lot of CBD actually in the meat already. So of our like ancient diets, and now I've been to places in like the Himalayas where it's literally growing everywhere, and the animals are eating it, and like that's normal. So if you think like back in the Mongolian hordes coming out across, you know, this huge migrational patterns, for sure their animals were eating, they're all having CBD. Like, you know, that's quite an interesting hereditary sort of pattern. And that's just
why
well, because our bodies have an endocannabinoid system.
No, I know about that. Yeah.
So we receive, it's like we all do, right, as humans. So it's almost like a key in the lock thing.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, it's like, well, why have we grown up so almost with the same pattern as the plant, right? We literally have like the same.
The symbiotic, or you can.
Yeah, there's a symbiotic relationship there, and it could have been because we have actually been consuming that thing for so long that it's sort of like integrated into our bodies, and we do produce cannabinoids ourselves. But when you're in a stressed environment or it's it's polluted and all this stuff, it actually affects your system, so you don't produce them properly. So most people living in an urban environment right now are not healthy on the endocannabinoid system, which regulates their fertility. It regulates the hormones, it regulates the digestive system, it regulates mood, it regulates all these things about our body, and there's all these people out of whack with it because we're in a polluted environment, because it's literally like yeah.
One, two, I'm going. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. Wow.
So now what I'm looking at is, okay, great. We're distributed globally. We sell CBD. Our products are some of the best in the world. But I want to move into medical, and I want to move into the licenses for that. So we just got our licenses in the UK for the CBD. There were 900 applications, only 70 got them. So over 90% of my competition just got wiped out.
It's good, isn't it?
It's good for those who are standing, yeah. Like, for instance, David Beckham invested in a company called Cellular Goods. They didn't pass. So it didn't even matter how much funding you got. It's like, it seems like they didn't have their stuff together.
Levels to this.
Yeah. So we got through, that's great. And now we have like up to 30% strength CBD, which is the strongest on the market. So we're really like in a super position. And I'm looking at it and thinking, well, okay, that's great. But like, how do we now go into medical and start supporting that? Because there's all these people who need it as well.
Get the people that need it, yeah.
So I'm looking at licenses now to acquire to go into our company, and then basically make that a bigger sort of spectrum of offering.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. So
way to go, Joe.
That's plant stuff. And we just started a functional mushroom product. So it's about reishi and cordyceps and chaga, like these old mushrooms.
What's all that?
Amazing. So they're adaptogens. So imagine like there's all these gaps in your body that need nourishment. Yeah. And adaptogen just sort of fits itself to where it needs to be, and then nourishes that place.
So wait a minute. So what you're growing mushrooms, not magic mushrooms, are they magic mushrooms?
No, they're not magic mushrooms. So.
Okay. So not magic mushrooms, guys.
They do magic. Yeah.
They do magic in the body. I like that.
I call them functional mushrooms.
Functional mushrooms. Yeah. So where do they come from? How do they come
So they're usually grown in labs, but you have different types like shiitake, turkey tail, chaga, reishi, cordyceps. These are like the main ones, lion's mane, and they all have different sort of properties. Like lion's mane is really good for the brain, like it's your brain needs.
But it's synthetic.
No, these are real mushrooms. Like as in like they're, if you walk in a forest and you see those things that come out the side of the tree, sometimes the ones you see even in the UK are turkey tails, and those are amazing. They're meant to be anti-cancer properties actually. Now I can't say that
fungi.
They are. Yeah, fungi, yeah. But when you powder them and you eat them, they're so good for your body, and especially things like adrenal glands, which are very difficult to treat. Like there is almost no other treatment for adrenal glands.
Then the tiger vein. Is it lion's mane? What do you call it?
For adrenal glands, I go for chaga mushrooms.
Chaga.
Yeah. So they go directly to the adrenals and they help them and they nourish them.
How do you consume it?
Just in the capsule.
So this is in the supermarket or the?
Yeah, you can buy it in the supermarkets now, but we've not our one, but we've just prepared our own supply chain. We've got our own one, so we're doing that, and it's along this idea of microdosing plant extracts. So having these natural plant additions to the body in some ways like vitamins, but not synthetically extracted from in factories. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. So those ones that are on the market are synthetically, or some of them are synthetically.
I
but
mean,
people are selling synthetic ones out there. I'm just asking for anyone now saying they want to go and take this on board, because if you want to get their health better and they will listen to what we're saying out there.
Yeah.
Some of the synthetic ones, but your ones are.
Yeah, our ones are like naturally produced. We're very, very just started, so I need to check if they're actually organic. And again, organic in the UK is a certified process, so I need to check that. But effectively they're not synthetic, and I wouldn't take a synthetic mushroom personally. Like you can get synthetics, but I wouldn't.
What does that word mean to you?
Synthetics?
Organic.
I
know. Sorry, that's the wrong question.
To be honest,
in respects to the regulatory thing where we're going in the shop and people want to eat more healthy and they're saying organic, what does happen to pass that and someone to stamp organic?
So for me, it's UKP5, which is a very high standard of organic certification in the UK, and it's alongside the Soil Association, which is also just as high. They're basically the highest quality standardization for organically branded products in the world. But there is a
said
whole
that really fast, but cool.
There's a whole it's a technical. So organic to me is like a technical word that is used in ecology and manage. Like it's literally like if it's organic, it's probably gone. The land has been fallow for 7 years, which means it hasn't been touched. There is no residual pesticides. There is no residual herbicides or these sort of insecticides left in the soil. It's processed away. The land is in essence a state of natural health, and then if you grow on that land, that is then could be classed as organic product.
Food.
Yeah. But it's 7 years. Like it's not a
night.
No, it's not. You can't just go. Oh, I'm going to grow organic food. Like, good luck.
Wait a minute. I want to think what I have in my head now. We're talking about mushrooms. But I want to ask you now. We go back to the mushrooms. But I want to also ask you about water. Because there's a crisis of water on the planet. That's one thing. Yeah. But then I saw on the news the other day that in America they found I don't know how many water companies that just selling you tap water.
Yeah, Dasani is actually from a Coca-Cola owned company. Just took tap water.
Selling you tap water, or ball tap water or purified.
And that's water. American tap water. They ain't English tap water. That's not even we're talking like low grade. This is like low grade.
You up to speed? Like we're talking about the being sold tap water as mineral water. That's biggest going on. And obviously the water crisis.
The problem in America is you have a very low standard of sanitation and water supply. So the municipalities, they don't have necessarily safe drinking water. Whereas here, we have safe drinking water. Like you can just take from the tap a glass of water, right? We know it's not perfect, but it's not going to kill you. And a lot of people do drink water that way in the UK. In America, no, it could kill you. So everyone in America is buying bottled water.
Because of that fact.
Yeah, because they can't just drink like some water out of the tap, right? It's not safe. Yeah. So they're buying it. And now what do you get on the options? There's distilled, spring, and like Purified, that's it, yeah. And the purified, they're literally just running chemicals through it. That's all. They're just killing all the bacteria in there. I mean, everything has a degree of like the UV scan, but not all water's made equally.
If you interview me, what would you want to talk about?
Oh man, there'd be a whole plethora of different ideas and value systems, and you dig it. I know you dig it.
When would you want to do this?
When I'm back in UK again.
UK, all right, cool, we'll get it. Let me not put you
right.
I like the sound. We're talking water now, H2O.
Yeah, so I really got into water, and I started using testers. So I was testing my water. You can buy them little instruments, test the water for particulates and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then I went and I got a mega home. So I started to distill my water, and then I'd filter
from the tap.
Yeah, so I'd take tap water, I'd distill it, I'd push it through a activated charcoal filter. And then when I got that, you basically have it's sort of dead water, right? So it's like distilled. It hasn't, and there's this idea that water has, we're made of water, but also water is a very conductive thing, and it brings energy with it, and it's also like
it's life,
sort of have memories in some ways. So what I started to do then is look at the vortexes. So if you can vortex the water, it kind of cascades against itself, and it creates new patterns of molecules. So I'd cascade the water after filtering it, and then I'd put it into a
how.
So you have, there's different ways, but effectively, if you've ever seen a stream and it's hitting the rocks, and as it hits the rocks, it spirals, right? And so when it's spiraling, that's the vortexing. These are the fractal shapes that water makes, right? So in this case, you can either do two things. One is you can put it through a vortexing, which basically creates a spiral just thin enough for the water that it starts like kind of come out of the tap and spiral. The other one is you run it through like a bunch of marbles. So by all the circular marbles being on top of each other, they're creating these layers that are like spinning. So you can pour the water through that, and you do like 100 marbles or something. It comes out and it has been vortex in that case.
So then it's like you're bringing the water back to life.
Well, you're restructuring the water on a molecular level. And then what I would do is I put the water with shungite, which is this they think it might be a meteorite that hit the earth, but it's in one place called Kamchatka in Russia, and there's two grades. There's noble shungite and there's normal shungite. Noble shungite is banned from leaving Russia because what they do is they powder it and they paint it on the stealth planes, and it absorbs all the magnetic frequencies and radar, so you can't see the planes. So this is what the property of the stone does. It's like a sort of like sucks up whatever's around it and blocks things. So I use shungite in the water, so it then actually absorbs any electromagnetic frequencies that were in the water too. So it sucks that out.
What would be the negativity of drinking water with electromagnetic frequencies in it?
Well, it could affect whatever frequency you personally have in your own body, because you yourself are emitting, especially from the heart, a total magnetic frequency all the time. So extracting that, cleaning it, purifying it, restructuring it, then extracting that. And also they say shungite is a sort of purification stone as well. So it's like running it over the stones and keeping the stones for 24 hours. Then I'd drink it.
Right, so you purify it from the tap.
Distill it. Yeah. So steam it, capture the drops, run those drops through a charcoal filter, like one drop at a time.
What kind of, you got some set up, the boom, 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 it goes through. How's that work? How's the setup work?
So they're machines. I just
linked to your tap. If you turn the tap on, it goes through the machine.
No, that's called a reverse osmosis, and they'll put that through a filter, which is they put pressure it through a filter. It's similar. Reverse osmosis is great.
See that, because my mate's got that, right? So he's got something he puts on his tap at the bottom of his sink, and with the tap water, when you taste it, it tastes nice.
Yeah, that'll be a reverse osmosis.
Can you achieve the same thing that you're trying to achieve with that, or
no? Because I'm doing a different. I add also
the energy
of the electromagnetic frequency for the shungite. Yeah.
So how realistic is that for someone at home to want to do that? Because that's a lot to go through.
They've got distillers now as well. Like people kind of rent.
Yeah.
You know, like they rent off, like just as you rent cable, and they come and install them next to your sink.
Weekly or monthly.
Okay, so they do that distilling. You can then turn that distilled water.
The thing I'm doing is completely custom. So I just made it up.
No, but what I'm saying now is, like, I hear that, but I'm just trying to get my head around everything. If I now take that water that's been through that pressure thing there, do I still need to still steam it like you steamed it, or then can I go into your next process?
You could go into, but you wouldn't. If you had it with the reverse osmosis, you'd probably just go to the point. You could. It's already been filtered. You could then just like restructure it and add the shungite.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So you could then that would just play that to get that and do that, and then you're saying that's how you drink water now.
Yeah,
and it's better for the body.
It is. It feels completely different. Yeah, it's delicious as well. Yeah, it tastes good.
Tastes nice. I'll have to try some. You won't give me none when I come to your house. Why not? Give me alcohol all the time. I'm saying though, isn't it?
Highly distilled.
Yeah, it was. That vodka was lovely the last time I came to your house. Wow. You pulled that bottle of vodka out. When I bought some drinks, I thought I went to his house, I bought some drinks, like. Yeah. But he's my brother. Like, you know, I'm having a party with everyone drinks. Because he's my brother, my bottles were already kind of half open a little bit. But I bought a couple bottles. Do you know what I mean? So, it is what it is, you know. But then, when they was finished, he was like, they're finished. We'll go to the shop. He's like, no. And he bought this ice cold. Yeah. I don't know how many distilled. That vodka was nice. It was nice. Yeah. It was really nice.
Yeah, and I have good whiskey usually as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I don't. But you got good water as well. You don't give me none of that.
What can you talk about? Can you talk to the people a bit about
some good water, you wanker.
About H3O?
What's H3O? Are you chatting nonsense?
No, you know about H3O?
I don't know. What is it?
You know that they say that our body is made of like water. Yeah. But they said, I was reading something where it said our body's not actually made of water. It's not H2O, it's H3O. It's a bit more of a jelly kind of thing. I thought you might have known, about it. But don't worry if you did.
No, I'm not up to speed on that. But I will look at it later.
I'm made of H5O. If people are made of H3O.
Do you mean like your H-Livo?
I'm H-I-O.
Or your policeman?
What?
H-I-O.
Yeah, come on. You gotta get with the new acronym.
H-R-H. H-R-H.
Water. CBD. Yeah. Life. Art. Film. I've been in a film. He filmed me, you know. He's photographized me. That's not even a word. But we also remember the film we made, the short film we made.
Was that the porn?
No,
not that one.
Porn. You mean not that one?
I've made quite a few short movies, and what did we do?
It was the True or False, but talk to me about some of the other movies as well.
Oh yeah, I did that one. That was
True or False
about parallel realities. Yeah. So it was like I filmed. I was given telling two stories. One story was fake and one story was true. He didn't tell me which one they were, so I just caught the cut of him. And I did this with like another 8 actors, and they were all actors.
Yeah, like, at the time it was all from most of it was from Anna's at the time.
Yeah, it's from Anna's, and it was like a complete, and then I interspersed them throughout the video. So it was like a 25-minute video. You sit there and listen to all these stories, but you don't know which one's real and which one's false.
Yeah, it's nice. It was nice. Did you still got?
We played that at in Whitechapel. We did a screening, like an opening. Yeah.
You still got it anywhere?
It's somewhere on a CD. I think I have it digitized as well. Yeah.
What's the biggest role you've played yourself?
The biggest role I've played. I've been part of like plays, you know, like on the stage, being someone that's part of the thing. I've not really done, you know, I was also an extra in some like movies. That's like a big role, being an extra, like in the background.
But for me, first time going on set, I went on set as extra as well. Being an actor, just being on set and just seeing the behind the background something the first time, even if I was just like, it wasn't even on screen. Yeah, it was nice for me.
I had a movie cancelled, so I had a main role in a movie with Michael Caine, and that got cancelled. Oh wow! Yeah, that got cancelled. So I had this like close brush with becoming like a famous English actor.
Yeah,
and it just didn't happen. And it like I went for 100 interviews or auditions and never got any of them. So I was like basically a useless actor. But what I found is that basically I was just learning to be more myself and being like me, and that was about being in front of people, and like no matter what was going on, I could interact with that and relate to it and sort of like not be awkward or weird, you know, like, and that's what acting gave me a lot of, was just like pure interpersonal skills, you know, like absolutely no problem, whoever you are, I'll find a way I'll find a way to get on with you and like interact and learn with you and share and like, you know.
Do you think actors that have had a long-lasting career, you know, like how does it? Not do you think? How do you think it affects their mental health? Because you know, like constantly being another character, constantly taking on these other characters. Well, like there's people that's died in character. You know what I mean? Like Joker.
The method acting, well, exactly, like the method acting of Joker. And like, it's when people take it, they're becoming the thing. And they can do that for months, you know, like, and you are like, I've done that with accents, and I've done that with like, you know, I've just become like an American. Yeah. For like a week.
Serious.
And afterwards, it is weird, like, because you go back to being you. I mean, I probably has done this a lot more than I have, to be honest.
It depends on someone's mental state and who you are as a person, because me personally, acting presents the opportunity to be someone else and not have to pay the price of whatever actions they may be doing, and live like precariously through someone else's reality or someone else's like story, and get it done and have the safety of like it's not real kind of thing. But then it also within that, because I've got so much energy, it breaks the monotony of life. That's what it is for me. But I can't see a role. I want to let me like I can't see a role where that would happen because, or I'll be fucked up or anything like that. It would affect me too much, because there's certain things I just wouldn't take. Yeah. The things that I know would affect me, kind of thing, which I think maybe what you're talking about, and what affect other people is certain things that you go down a rabbit hole, or you do certain things, you open up certain things inside yourself.
What's the role you wouldn't take?
Paedophilia.
No. Well, no. Okay, sure. Any other less extreme version?
Now, any kind of real degradation of women and stuff, I just can't. I don't want none of that. I don't want to be part of any of that. I don't want to give myself or my energy or my soul to any of that. Yeah. So any negative connotations, and anyone can say what they want to say to me about me not being a real actor, because it's not the truth. Yeah. Or you could say, because I'm scared of what might happen if I do it, whatever. But nah, not for me. Do you know what I mean? And I think having those boundaries within things will save you as an actor from having problems with stuff you do.
What about so in the case of Joker, right? It was basically being someone who's insane. Yeah. Like, so he became that, and then he actually went insane. You know.
Yeah, but
could you play an insane villain?
Yeah.
Like you're like
because
if you become it. The thing is, like, I think that our neural pathways and our behaviors and our habits are formed by just repetition. So the more we do something, the more we become it. Like if I was to play an insane person for 3 months, and like say 50% of my time is literally on set playing that character or being that character, there's a new insane villain part of me. Like that's now a part of me. Like I could switch into that.
Yeah.
When you want
someone could piss me off when I'm driving. I'd suddenly become the insane villain who's driving the car in the road rage thing. Be like, I'm gonna blow up the tires or something. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
can you imagine what it's like for something like EastEnders? Like Ian Bill is Ian Bill. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't know who he is in real life, but he's been Ian Bill for so long.
That is him. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's when it's interesting.
But it's grounding.
But you take an EastEnders role, right?
EastEnders role? No, I don't know about that now.
No.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
But it's just for how long?
They'd have to offer it to me.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's had his role for a very long time.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
We were kids.
Yeah.
But the anchor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when
the anchor.
Grown up.
No, you need the anchor. So if you've got the anchor, you're good.
I thought you said Bianca.
No, not Bianca.
That's what I thought you said too.
Ricky. No, if you've got the anchor. So
lovely.
Even if you've got the 3 months of doing this character, but you've got a steady anchor of exactly who you are, or things that anchor you within the reality of what your life is, I think that's easy for you to remain within that realm. I don't know what happened for Heath Ledger.
What would be interesting is if you hit an international fame and then suddenly you go into a foreign place and they think that you're that
person,
gangster, or you're that character out of the
movie.
Yeah, the movie.
But it happens.
I know, but then it's reinforced like everywhere you go because you're global. Like when you get real successful, and that's when it gets weird, right? Because then you're like surrounded by this other personality the entire time, and it maybe it'll last 2 years if it's real successful, but it's still like a weird one.
Because there's not many things that go on for that long. That's why I say she like the Home and Away. I don't know. I don't know if Home and Away is still going on. Do you know what I mean? But
it went on for like 100 years. So.
Yeah. It's like, I know EastEnders is still going on. I don't know if half of these other things are going on, but EastEnders, when you think about how many there's series that cut off, you know what I mean? They might get 5 parts, but they cut off. So even if you was in that series all 5 seasons, but EastEnders has been those characters, consistent.
Yeah. The thing that you just painted, my back, man. The thing you just painted will piss me the hell off.
That's what pissed me off. Being that famous, yeah.
Yeah, being that famous, I'd be like,
he's like,
they'd be like, I'll come here, okay, here's my passport. It's IO Fawole. No, you Mike. Come on, you Mike. Show me Mike. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually Fawole. Then I'm at dinner. Can I have the thing there? Okay, Mike. Everywhere you go is reaffirmed.
Yeah.
That would do my nut.
Especially if there's a bad character.
It just, whatever character it was, I'm actually
or if there was a catchprise like la la la, then you just hear la 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 everywhere you go. And you're going,
la la la.
Drive me crazy.
I wouldn't like that. But I wouldn't like that.
This is where it can go, you see.
Yeah, but then you got the money, you live a reclusive life.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, because I don't like people that much anyway. I love people, but I don't like them that much, to be honest with you.
So you're cool with it? You're like,
yeah.
It's the whole trade of the devil anyway.
What's that? Acting?
Well, no, getting that famous. Like,
yeah.
Your reality stops being your reality. It becomes everyone else's reality.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's the whole
trade, isn't it? A big trade.
The whole trade of the devil.
It's a trade.
Because you're no longer yourself. You sold your soul to someone else.
You
sold your soul to someone else.
Interaction in the world isn't always about you anymore.
And I think that's where I would have the problem. Because I want to...
But by talking about it now, before you get famous, we've dealt with it.
Yeah, no, definitely
You're not going to have it.
No, I wouldn't
be like, this is happening. We talked about that.
Nah, you know why? Because I.O. Fawole will always be the person in the room. No matter what character I play, I.O. Fawole is going to be the one in the room.
Have you got the loudest voice that you've met of anyone else? Or have you ever met anyone with a louder voice than yourself? Like when it comes down to it and you really want to just like talk to someone like way over there that I've seen you do, and you just step up this like extra volume. Have you ever met anyone else who can do that? Once.
I don't know, maybe.
Never.
Nah, you're a funny guy. I want to tell you 2 stories.
Because I've never.
You know what I mean? I was waiting for the answer.
I want to tell you 3 stories. I want to tell you 3 stories. 3 quick stories.
I think, yeah.
You're funny. No, have I got... Okay, so...
Thank you.
Yesterday I was on the bus. No, this morning I was on the bus coming home from work.
Yeah.
And the bus had to let a wheelchair off, but the bus driver had blocked the bus by a post, and it's like the bus was on what's this road? York Way. Yeah. It's piling traffic up behind. Everything's piling up. recently I've prided myself, cause everyone knows I'm working, is stop trying to jump in and fix everything for everyone. So I've seen stuff out there, like some things where some people don't know where they're going and they're looking at the mic and, is this train going here? Sometimes, I'll tell you, but I've let other people do it now. I've stepped back a little bit because I don't need to try and fix everything. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I've kind of, which I was doing anyway, bit of a confession on camera. Anyway, so I used to leave things, but no one was stepping up. So I'm sitting in the back there. So what you said, I've just said something. But I've said something, I want to talk to the bus driver about the thing. So I said to him, yo, the thing's like behind you like this, then back up the thing and rare. But the way I'm talking to him, I've got out the thing, the bus, I told the cars to back up as well, but the projection was different. Yeah. The projection was different. Also, I'm out with my kids and my kids are doing something wrong. I'm trying to stop them from doing what they're doing wrong. Same thing. Yo, excuse me. The way everyone turns around and they're checking themselves is something else. In pertaining to your question, I don't think that, people, my voice is what my voice is, do you know what I mean? But I haven't met anyone with a voice like mine.
If there was a microphone that could sustain it and not just blow up when you did it, you could use it as a superpower in the cinema.
As a superpower in the cinema?
Yeah, like as an actor, yeah. You could they wouldn't have to put special effects on it or nothing.
Yeah. You give me props though. I like that, bro.
Yeah, it's good.
I appreciate it.
It's all about acting, right?
Appreciate it. Yeah. So let's use my voice a bit better. Do you remember the thing I done actually? I done that for that Pants of Poverty thing down in it was a voiceover, like Star Wars. Yeah, it was mad. It was mad. You was involved in that as well. It was crazy. Yeah. I recorded it down in that studio. Yeah, that's down by thing. Yeah. Mad.
Tough no.
Life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. What does that mean to you?
Sounds like a nice meme. Yeah, love is a great one. Happiness. I'm searching more for that space of gratitude to be more present than happiness in particular. It seems like more sustaining and nourishing. And then what was the third one?
Life. Love. You didn't say that about love. So you said life. You said the pursuit of happiness. You skipped over the middle one.
Love. Well, I think love's like that space in your heart that can melt anything, right? And then that also kind of, when you recognize it's kind of intrinsic to everything around you and the things you interact with, it's just often covered up. And so the sort of underlying energy that runs through things is this impartial and also element of love. And I think it's in all that we are and all that we see. And when we tap into that, it becomes very, very powerful.
What's the longest relationship you've had?
Shit.
Hit him, come on, answer the question, man.
5 years.
5 years. How long ago was that?
That was like end of last year.
End of last year. Wow.
Is that why you said shit?
Well, just.
You travelled with them a lot.
Pardon?
Did you travel with them a lot?
No, because it's COVID, isn't it? Couldn't travel anyway.
Before that?
A little bit.
The COVID.
Yeah. What brought it to the
end? We were not compatible in our
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing
energies.
at you. I just feel like it's an interrogation there.
Yeah.
No, it's like me. I'm gonna hit him with my side. Sorry, I'm sorry.
We grew apart, and it wasn't. It just wasn't. Yeah, it didn't feel like we were nourishing each other anymore.
Okay. I always find that intelligent people have when it comes to relationships, do you feel like intelligence can help or sometimes miss, you know what I mean, kind of destroy relationships?
Yeah, well, I usually find, because I'm so intelligent, that God, that's the question he's talking to you.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
No, I was chatting shit.
What's the question?
Do you think do you think our intelligence always serves us in the right way when it comes to relationships?
No, because there's a mix of instinct, behavior around just having been touching someone, feeling their energy and the warmth, and it just sends your brain into haywire.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily compute, and that's also about love. And when you start to care about someone, you start to understand them. It's not about intelligence; it's about intuition and connection, and love as well. Yeah. You gotta have a balance, all that stuff. I mean, if you just do that and it's no intelligence, I mean, you're still probably pretty happy, to be honest. But
happy going nowhere.
I think intelligence is a good thing in the mix. Of
you need intelligence.
A little bit of that. Yeah,
no, you need intelligence. Trust me
to navigate all this.
Do you have any kids, or do you plan?
I don't know, but I like kids. Yeah.
You plan
to have kids?
Yeah. How many kids you got?
Pause.
That's not a pause.
That's a
situation.
pause.
Definitely not.
That's a pause for me. No information. I've got as many kids as I've got. How about that?
I didn't bring up the question.
I'm not sure he knows.
Pause. Yeah, pause. Yeah, no pause. No pausing.
Pause.
He's heard some new ones lately.
I love all
No,
my
I'd
children.
like to have kids. Yeah, I'd like to have kids.
Do you want some of my kids?
Pause.
Pause.
That's pause.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just rolling with it now. Rolling with it.
How many are on? How many are on offer?
Pause. Is this good? We did it right now, yeah?
I think my one was the only right one in that one. Yeah.
Cool. So what do we see apart from children in the future for Joe Oliver?
In the future,
Yeah.
I'd like to do more international work and bring people together and find ways to help reduce the suffering that people are experiencing and also the degradation to the land that's occurring around the world. You know, like we need to sort out our relationship with nature because it's the thing that sustains us and we're destroying it.
Mm.
Yeah. And I'd like to have a lot of fun while I do all that.
As you do.
Yeah.
One man. What's that? Life Talks.
Yeah, I was trying to wrap it up before it goes over to him.
Boy, find the camera. Have you got anything else you want to ask me apart from those questions that you just asked me?
No, I'd just like to say thank you very much. Like, it's a real honour. It's really pleasure to talk to you always. Like, don't know what you're doing with your hands.
I want a handshake.
All right, with both hands.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh man. Yeah, go.
Double.
That wasn't awkward.
Guys. Which I wanted to give you a hand, you nutcase. That one hand, I was going to do that. And reaffirm with this hand. Yeah, you really awkward,
You were like
man.
chucking in the pot. You were going like that as well. You're doing like a sort of flamenco with your hands. So I was like, what's going to happen there? Jazz hands.
Jazz hands is this, bro. That's jazz hands. Jazz hands.
It's been a pleasure, always.
Yeah.
Yes. Very.
Love you, bro. Life Talks, Joe Oliver, Fawole, voice behind camera, wizard.
Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoyed that, you know. In that case, NASA.